kind of in it.
You're in it. You're right there.
Yeah, well, I wasn't worried about me being in it. I was worried about you being in it, since you're kind of moderating this stuff. So I don't know if you need it also pulled up on your phone.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know.
Why do I look so red?
Probably just because of the light.
I guess you look a little red too.
Yeah.
Hello, YouTube.
Nobody's here yet.
I know.
Let me go post about it in my group. I'm scared to listen to this.
You listen to us all the time, so.
Okay, let me put headphone in just in case. I don't know at what point YouTube draws the line on monetization, so.
Why is this name that?
Because it's been like that for like 2 years. Okay, he said they're done at the splash pad and sitting in the parking lot getting ready to leave. And yeah. Oh, and he's probably going to stop for food. Hi, okay. Welcome to our live. This is Rebecca.
Hi.
She is our podcast co-host. We're co-hosts of the podcast. So essentially, there is not a point to this live stream today. I just felt like maybe live streaming, and I got overwhelming feedback that yes, I should live stream. So here we are. So yeah.
And we've never live streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, I've live streamed like once or twice, but it's been like a year. So, hello.
Nice to
Welcome,
see you.
Patty. And thank you for being here. And yeah. So what we're doing, we just got done filming an episode of the podcast. That's supposed to go live tomorrow because we had already had it filmed, but we both have children, so it was just a lot of noise in the background, and I know some of you don't mind, but then other people definitely think it's distracting, so, we just wanted to produce the best quality video that we can, so we refilmed it. And I'm going to be editing, so maybe we should switch chairs.
Why?
Just so you're like closer and able to interact more, because you're about to see like a lot of the side of my head and me potentially leaning in front of you like this.
Oh, okay.
But also I cannot get
your computer. You can scoot it over.
That won't be too much of an issue, but I also cannot get so far my computer to read our memory card from the camera that we just recorded on. So excuse me while I complain about technology. It normally pops up right over there. Oh, there it is.
It's like step one on why having a podcast can be really frustrating.
Yeah, it just didn't want me to like embarrass it on the YouTube, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll work. Because I was gonna talk crap.
I think that you should embarrass that computer on the YouTube. Or not that computer, that's camera.
So it was
Excuse me, I can't
the
talk
last
at all.
two. She's the one who live streams too, so if she messes up, make fun of her. Just
fine.
kidding.
That's fine. I'm in her office. When I live stream my office, and I drop things all the time. So there's like a rule, like literally written, that if you drop something, you didn't hear it.
Yeah, she texts me like a couple of times over the past couple of weeks saying that she was like filing something, and I don't know the terminology. She like launches it across the room because it like, pops out of her hand, and that's awesome. Terrible for her because it's like she's like, I was almost done with it, and then I cannot find it because it's always the smallest stuff, because she does jewelry. If you guys have not listened,
I was gonna say, like, they'd have no idea who I am.
Yeah, that's true. I forget because it's all the same to me, but I forget some of you guys don't listen to our podcast yet. But we have a podcast about running handmade businesses, and she is a jewelry business owner, whereas you guys know I do crochet. So she's always working with the tiniest like stuff. Yeah. But that's cool, making sea turtles. I vibe with that. I gotta make some turtles.
Lyris Stitchery says, yes, catching someone I follow live. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's pronounced Lyra.
Is it Lyra?
It's a pretty name. I like it. We're just waiting for
this to load.
Yeah. I finally got the memory card to read, and now we're just like pulling the video off the memory card onto the computer.
There is no part of the podcast making process that is fast.
There's
at
no
all.
part of the YouTube video making process that is fast.
That's true.
Oh man. I hear people say that like YouTube's not a real job, or like content creation is like not a real job. But like do some content creation and like let me know if you still feel the same way. Because I won't lie to you, on Monday I actually already edited this episode of the podcast that we re-recorded. So I just like lost time, and then I had a bunch of stuff edited when my computer broke. So it's just like is what it is.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Okay, so Lyra is a very lovely name.
It is very pretty.
Oh, and we have the comments on her phone over here if you see me like leaning away.
What's a Philly crochet project? Like I said, I make jewelry. I don't do crochet.
I'm actually not sure. Let's Google it. I think it's like, no, well, I think that's mosaic. Okay. Fillet crochet. Is that how you say that?
I mean, I'm thinking of like a fish, so.
I can tell you she's not making fish. Okay, it's kind of giving doily vibes, but like fancy.
Yeah.
Pretty. So is it like, are you making a clothing item? Because I'm seeing a lot of like shawls, and then I'm also seeing like full like tablecloths.
Are you using 2 separate yarns for this and interweaving them together? Because that's what it looks like in these pictures, because they're different colors, and I can't imagine, even if you had a colorful yarn that goes back and forth, that it would do that.
I really like this. I think,
That looks complicated.
were you the person in the Facebook group that showed me the project with like the peacock? Because that was cool. That was cool. I think that's a peacock. I'm not good with my birds.
Why is there a heart here?
I don't know. I don't
They
like
gotta be so difficult.
I don't know what I'm doing today. And this is taking forever.
Sorry, I just put those dots in so I could move the comment up. I love Instagram, honestly. I make reels on Instagram all the time.
Okay, so this blows my mind. This is what she's making.
You're making... You should point your computers over there so that we can confirm that that is awesome.
Okay, I'm quite sure. Okay, we're gonna remove this for a second. I'm quite sure I've seen this in the Facebook group. Can we see it? Why can't we see it?
You can see now.
Oh, it's just delayed.
It's delayed, yeah.
Okay. Oh, too much.
This? Are you making this?
Only 67 rows left. That's not bad, man.
That's stunning.
Yeah, that's gonna be so sick. I can't imagine ever making anything like that because my brain just would check out about 12 rows into that and just be like, no.
That is just so cool.
But that's like cool stuff that people make.
I'm in the group. If you post a picture, I'll see it.
That is,
For
if
sure, I'm the
anybody
only jewelry
wants
person
to
in
know
the
the
group.
pattern, it's called Peacock and Trellis Filet Crochet Pattern by Crafty Sasha on the Etsy.
On the Etsy-gram.
Yeah, on the Etsy. The Etsygram, the Facebook, the YouTube.
It's almost
Update.
loaded.
My videos are still uploading.
Yeah, so I couldn't do an editing video where I'm downloading the videos still on here because my internet takes forever, and this would take like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Would be terrible.
Yep.
It's all chain and double crochet.
Yep, double crochet. So, I could show you what that is. I guess that does not sound that bad, technically, but also to make something that big and to like have to pay attention to the pattern, because like the thing I like about amigurumi is you can kind of lie your way through it. Like if I get to an end of a row and it's like a stitch off, it's like, cool, I'm just going to increase here. And then I just go around and you can't tell. But then also, at the same time, that doesn't work for big projects like that, because like if you're a stitch off, the tail is going to be weird, or like the face is going to be weird, or like if it's something that has like color and you're changing colors, like your eye's going to maybe be able to catch that. So that's just a lot of pressure.
I mean, I can't really like give an additional opinion on that because again I don't crochet. I make jewelry and I work in like really delicate jewelry, so it's very precise. But
Maybe we should do a project one day. You do like a crochet project, and I'll
Okay.
pick you a beginner thing, and shows me how to make a jewelry thing.
do you guys want to see that on live stream? Where I'm just sitting here and she's teaching me how to do something that I otherwise do not do.
I need teaching hours technically for my instructor course. I need
So,
15
do you guys want to
hours.
follow along and do it with us so I'm not alone learning? I mean, you guys already know what you're doing, so you have an advantage. That's a little unfair, but that's okay.
She has to frog back. That means undo some of it. So
Oh.
yeah, because I guess not in the like picture part. You can probably like hide some stuff a little better, but obviously if it's in the picture part, I feel like you're gonna have to definitely go back and fix it. And that always hurts real bad.
Patty says, cool, yes. All right. Hopefully you're going to do that project with me, Patty. It's not just me. And Rosalie's Craft Creation says, hello.
Hello
Harry
and
says, that
welcome.
sounds cool. Happy 4th of July.
Oh yeah, happy 4th, guys. That's part of why I'm live streaming, because there's like somebody to watch children, at least for now. And, you know, we're home today, both of us at the same time. And
we're here because our spouses are off today, and so they can bring the children elsewhere.
yeah, and here, let's swap so I can get this into DaVinci. So if you guys ever want to do YouTube, I use a platform called DaVinci Resolve to edit, and there is a paid version, but it's free, the version I use, and it's pretty like robust. You get like a lot of features in that.
It is actually really, really cool as an editing software.
She is like a slightly less experienced on the editing, so we are going to go through today and like show her some of the techniques that I use, which are also very basic because there's some people that do some real serious edits, but I get by.
She does long form editing, and because I do a lot of Instagram posts, I do Facebook and TikTok reels, Instagram reels and TikTok posts and Facebook and things like that. The editing I do is short form, and I don't need a lot of fancy equipment to do it. YouTube scares me too. I'm working on it though. I mean, my channel exists, so that's a step.
YouTube can be scary. Not everybody is like comfortable speaking in front of a camera, but also the magic of editing is like pretty awesome. The first thing I do when I put a video into DaVinci to edit is I speed it up a little bit because we're both from the South and I feel like we talk a little bit slow. So I just, fix that right away.
Do we talk slow?
Probably not today. I've had a lot of caffeine. But some days I feel like I'm Jimmy Bob slow.
I've had 0 caffeine today.
And this is how I do it.
Pass me my drink.
Right click. Change speed. This is the speed. 1.06.
Okay.
And that was the change in speed portion. That's a beautiful face.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
She wants to know if she can ask a question about Etsy.
Yeah, go ahead. We're here. She's done Etsy in the past, and you guys know I currently do Etsy. So we can maybe help. I say maybe because there's some stuff I don't know, but I can maybe point you in the right direction.
Depends on what form of content you're using, Rosalie, or you want to do your content. Long form, we use Jackie's camera and my camera. So I have a DSLR. She has something equivalent to a DSLR.
Yeah, this is my camera. I got it on the YouTube. I got it in a pack that came with the dead cat mic. And it's cool because this little screen comes out so I can see myself while I'm recording. And this also flips, so then if I'm taking a picture of something, I could have it open and see. But it does like video and pictures.
Have you done a review on it yet or no?
No.
You should.
It was pricey. Like my pack was like $600-700 that had all my stuff in it. But it literally came with the case, some batteries, like all the things. And I did not have this until a year in. I did record on my phone, but that like no space thing you're talking about is the entire reason why I got a camera, because it would kill me to only be able to like film 10 minutes at a time, upload it, film 10 minutes at a time, upload it, because I was uploading to Google Drive from my phone so I can get on the computer on Google Drive and download it onto my computer, and it's a whole messy process, and it's very time consuming to do the uploading and the downloading. So this is a lot easier because I just have the memory card come out. It goes right into the computer, and now it's like already on the computer, and it's taken like less than 20 minutes to get it on the computer and into the editor instead of like 2, 3, 4 hours or more.
Yeah, and on that note, when it comes to my stuff, which I know you guys don't really see because this is Jackie's channel, but I use my phone for 90% of the stuff. So the DSLR I have, it exists and I should use it, but I use my phone and I post from it and I do all of the short form editing from it. So if you're using Instagram Reels and that's what you're trying to for, your phone is perfectly capable of doing so. It could depend on the quality of your picture and video taking too, though. If you want to put in the chat what phone you have, I could probably give you a better idea of that as well. As far as the Etsy question, from when I was on there, it did not close my shop to do so. I don't know if you've had to switch your banking information.
If I open a shop using one checking account, if later on I switch to a different checking account, where did it go? She moved it. Different checking account, will that close my account? It should not. You should be able to update your banking information without it closing down your shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I say should because I won't lie to you guys. Sometimes Etsy is a little bit weird and will shut down your shop. So I'd like to say no, 100%. But that should not be something that has to do it. It has like the ability to close your shop down. But you want to make sure if your like full legal name is, well, use your business name, but if you're as your name, if your name is Lyra's Stitchery on the bank account and you change to another bank account that it's Lyra's Stitchery, as long as like it's the same, it shouldn't be an issue. But if you got married to like Bob Smith and now you're Lyra Smith and you change to a different account name, that is where you might have issues. Because all your like legal names on everything, the tax stuff you fill out, the bank stuff you fill out, your ID that you submit needs to all like 100% match. So like if you're like me, Jacqueline A. Chaplin, I need all of my stuff to say Jacqueline A. Chaplin because Etsy gets their like AI stuff really just full sends. And one little difference can cost you your Etsy. But there are ways to get your Etsy back. Is it fair? Not necessarily, but there are ways to get it back.
As far as in my experience, I have changed my banking information way back when I used Etsy, and I did not have any issues with that. Patty, for an iPhone 12 Pro Max, you won't have any issues whatsoever posting on there. iPhone's pretty adaptable as far as it goes with video editing.
Yeah.
I'm biased. I like my Android. I have the Samsung something or another that's new, and I didn't necessarily want to upgrade, but they forced me to. But as far as the A12 Galaxy one, I would take a few videos first, look back on the quality of them, maybe even post like a small one. It doesn't have to be anything significant. It can be 10 seconds with a trending audio clip, and it could literally be of your workstation, and just see what that looks like once you post it. You can delete it later. You don't have to keep it up there, but see what it looks like. See if you like the quality of it. The lower versions of the Samsungs and Androids can be difficult. The space.
Yeah. So that is a thing. What you can maybe do to free up space is, oh, it's over there. Get you an external hard drive. Get everything that you can off your phone. You'll probably have to put it on a computer and then from the computer onto the hard drive, but then, you know, you're freed up space wise, and then record from there. Or maybe get like a cheaper phone and don't like put service on it. So like if so-and-so is getting rid of their old phone, just take it to record on, and then you can connect to Wi-Fi and then like upload it to Google Drive like that way to get it on a computer. If you wanted to like edit on a computer, but you can do a lot of stuff on a phone, including the editing stuff like what is it called?
I don't know.
There's like an editing thing that a lot of people use that I personally didn't like, but I hate doing anything on my phone with a
Your
burning
video,
fiery
like
passion.
CapCut.
CapCut, that's
Okay.
the one. Yeah, you can
CapCut.
edit on CapCut on your phone. You can actually do some level of editing within YouTube on your phone. Same thing with like the Instagram and the TikTok. There's like in-app editing. So
I'm going to show you mine for a second. I'll let you know that storage can become a real problem, and I have one of the highest level of storage. So you'll see how much I have in usage after having deleted literally everything off my phone, what, like 3 weeks ago?
yeah,
And how much I have available. I don't know if you'll be able to see the specs too, but I have 512 gigabytes of storage altogether. Memories at 12 gigabytes. I'm currently at 4 gigabytes. I had maxed out. That's why I had to remove it all. I moved it all to a different computer. So that's what I do. When I max out, I move it to a computer. It does build up really fast. You run out of a lot.
it happens. Listen,
It does.
we did not know these things when we got started. That's a really common misconception. Neither her or I are like very tech savvy. She asks a lot of stuff to her husband, who is more tech savvy. I had never been in front of a camera for anything by the time I got around to doing YouTube. The closest I came was like I was an on air radio host for an AM channel that nobody listens to up in like farm country. But that's about it. And I did not make up my own stuff then. I was going very scripted. I like read weather, sports, and like farm reports. So like you don't know the things you don't know, but you like learn it. So
Yeah. As far as the bank account goes, yes, your name has to absolutely match. If it doesn't match, then you're normally going to have a problem with the banking, and it's going to cause
it doesn't
issues.
need to match your like business name. Like if your Etsy's called like mine Works of Whimsy, like your bank doesn't need to say Works of Whimsy. But like the tax information you fill out when
Needs
you
to stay
sign
the
up to
same
Etsy
as your
and your bank, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a strong personality, so I talk over people, and I'm really working on that because it comes off as like
She's fine.
rhymes with pick, and I don't want to be that guy.
She's
so I'm
fine.
working on it.
I don't mind it. If you guys have an issue, you can say, but like I don't mind it. So I imagine that you don't mind it if I don't mind it. So
I'm not doing it to be rude. I just have a strong personality.
Yeah.
And learning slowly but surely is good. I've been a business owner for like at this point like 7 years or so, between like my writing job and my various Etsy's, and I did not understand Instagram, like literally, and I just turned 30. I did not understand Instagram till like this year. Like seriously. I was like, what's the difference between a post and a story and a reel? I didn't know who's seeing what. So like
I can answer
it's okay
those
to
questions.
feel a little dumb because it's normal.
I can answer those questions. I've been running my jewelry business specifically for 14 years. And so I grew with the platforms. The platforms, not all of them existed when I started. And I've seen as they've updated, and I follow along with it. So I do live videos on my channel and whatnot. And I explain that stuff to other handmade artists specifically in all categories.
The important thing to note is you'll probably make mistakes, and that is 100% okay. I don't know if any of you caught it yesterday. I had a video go live before I fixed the description, and I think the title was okay, but it had no thumbnail, and that was literally yesterday. We're talking a year plus into Etsy or into YouTube, and I literally put up a video yesterday without having a thumbnail or a description. So
it happens. As far as deleting, and it looks like no changes, it's very specific to what you delete. Photos and videos, but you have to kind of delete them in a very wide amount. So to get my phone down to the small like 4 gigabytes that it has now, I had to delete like 16,000.
Can we take a picture with your phone real quick? Because I want to show, because not everybody knows. You got to like double delete pictures for it to like actually be off your phone.
Yeah, you have to delete off the trash bin, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just took this picture, and
this picture,
we'll be able to like regularly delete it here. But this deletion will not free up space.
Yeah, this is going to move it to the trash. That's when you move to the trash, that's not freeing up space.
And then you got to go to the actual trash bin.
Yep, so you have to go into your settings. Let me try doing this. Every phone's a little bit different. And I think it's in the settings.
Mine's not in the settings. Mine's within like the gallery still. But like I just wanted to point that out because I did not know that at first either, because you don't know what you don't know.
Oh, you're right. It is in the gallery. It's right there.
So you could see trash and you could see what's in your trash. So like if you've filmed the clip for YouTube or Instagram and you're done with that, make sure you delete it from your like camera roll and then go into the trash and delete it, because you will not free up space until you delete it from
You're going to go to your 3 buttons here and you're going to do empty. Yeah.
And in the same vein, if you accidentally delete something, you can retrieve it from the trash.
Yeah. So like that's a positive, but it does suck when you're trying to free up space. But I did have to delete like 16,000 photos and video to do so. On the bright side, my phone holds more than 16,000 things, but
what you can do if you have like silly videos of like grandkids, but you got 37 of the same kind of video, like delete some of those. That's okay. I've deleted some videos of my own kids.
Or transfer them to a computer if you don't want to.
I did keep the good ones because I do love my children, but like sometimes I'm waiting for like Judah to like say something or do something funny. So I've got like 40 seconds of him just standing there being a baby. I don't necessarily need that. So delete that kind of stuff. Go to your downloads, like empty out your downloads, because if you're like me, you probably download dumb stuff all the time that you don't ever need or even like open to look at.
Screenshots.
Yeah.
Take up a lot of space.
I know you want to keep those to talk trash, but you can delete some of those. It's fine.
Are we keeping this up? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, likely.
For a while.
We do have...
Hey, thanks Nikita, and welcome, and just do it. And I'll give you guys, if you're going to do a crochet channel specifically, I'll tell you what I do for like content ideas. One, just start answering questions about crochet. What is crochet? How do you do this stitch? How do you do that stitch? What the difference between like this kind of crochet, like filet crochet, or like amigurumi is. Review books. You guys know if you haven't seen it, I just reviewed this book written by Jade. I don't know how to pronounce her last name because it's French. But it's all from Jade. And yeah, so this was like a lovely topic. You guys seem to enjoy that. It's a great book, by the way. That kind of thing. And then what I do, and I stand by this as a good idea, and I know some people might feel some type of way about it, but I will go to other crochet channels and like kind of harvest some ideas. Do I make the exact same video? Not necessarily, but do I use their content for ideas of what I can do or like what I can adapt for my business? Or like maybe I make a video that I like strongly agree with this or I disagree with that, you know? So do that kind of thing. And then that'll give you a ton of video ideas. It's like endless content.
You can do that the same with Instagram posts, Facebook posts, not just videos, but like just the solid posts. You can gather ideas from other people who've already been making them.
Oh yeah, I do have it jotted down that I want to set up my Instagram like a little more like
businessy.
Crochet Cameron's Cute Creations. She's got like nice pinned content. All of her stuff is like very like aesthetic and like one color. I'm gonna steal that idea and set mine up similar.
A lot of people do that. That takes a lot of work, and
it does take a lot of work. That's why it's not done. I've had that goal for like a year. I won't lie.
My Instagram's aesthetic. It's not all the same, like aesthetic going down, but it does still look nice. You can still tell it's all from the same stuff.
You've got a variety of different types of shots, but it all does look fancy.
Just vintage crochet, and I got lots of ideas from her to apply to my. Oh, that's awesome. Pretty sure what that is.
Oh yeah, am I keeping this up? Yeah, this will be okay. I thought she meant, because I only seen like the short front part of that. I thought she meant, are we like live streaming for a while? Yeah, probably. But like this will definitely be up to watch later.
Why wouldn't Dutch work?
I will say, if you guys are worried about being from not the United States, the vast majority of the people who watch my channel are actually not United States based. I do have a lot of Canadian, which I know isn't, well, not all English speaking actually. But there are like a variety of people from a variety of different countries who watch my channel. So don't let not being like a native English speaker or not being like US based keep you from doing YouTube. And then they do like closed caption your videos kind of like automatically. That'll translate.
Yeah, I mean, when the videos that I do on other platforms, a lot of them are people in the UK, people that are over in Britain, just literally general areas. Brain's kind of short circuiting right now because I'm trying to think of the audience. And I watch videos from people
Yeah, we
from
have a
other
chef.
countries.
Well, and I was just about to say that too. There is so many different tutorials that I've watched on YouTube that are not in English at all. But here's the good thing about crochet.
Yeah, they were saying that too.
It's pretty much the like single crochet is like the same across the board. So we're lucky in crochet that like it works across the world for the most part. But we could see my demographics here because I actually have not checked in a little while. Analytics, audience.
Huh. Well, yeah, I'm definitely a big fan as come as you are kind of person when it comes to getting on video. People find you relatable when you essentially just show who you are.
Oh, well, it has changed. I've lied. 65% are from the United States. That also means 35% are not. So I have a lot of people from Canada, the UK, Australia, South Africa. I clicked it and now I cannot see Germany, Brazil, and the Netherlands, which kind of ironically, almost all of those are English speaking. So that's kind of stepping on my point a little bit. But
When I go TikTok live for my jewelry, I get people that will come in and they try to trash talk, but I'm pretty sure they're kids and they're really bad at it, so it's kind of funny. I mean, it really is kind of funny. I tend to laugh and be like, "That's a terrible insult," but on other platforms, no, most people are really, really, really supportive. I guess would be the right word, and a lot of people are other handmade artists, like you're seeing here. For yours specifically in crochet.
oh yeah, I get very minimal people that say anything negative about my business, like just in general ever. So I've been very fortunate, and like the couple of times it's happened, I know for me, and this isn't true for everybody, I got probably more confidence than I need. So it just rolls right off my back.
Also, if you really like, you can ignore the negative talk. I know it's hard not to read it, but literally ignore it. I wouldn't even engage with it if you don't feel comfortable with doing so, because something that really ticks them off is ignoring them when people come in to negative talk you. And honestly, like, why not? Why not tick them
And
off?
I do want to say there's been some feedback that has been kind of negative in nature that has actually been stuff that I've actually like taken and like used. Like one person told me like maybe stop mentioning my like headband tutorial that I've not done if I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, you kind of said that rude, but fair point. All right.
They called you out on that.
So I stopped mentioning that for a while until I did like my hat tutorial, and then like it got broken on my computer. So I'm like, dang, now I've started up again. That person's probably like, why are you talking about this again? And then I've had people tell me that like my kids in the background of my videos is kind of a little bit like annoying. And again, like I don't necessarily love the way that's put, but I also can't say that I disagree with you because I won't lie to you. Sometimes they get on my nerves too. But it's just a fact of my situation. 9 times out of 10, they're here, so I can't really do anything about it.
It's actually something we talk about in our podcast because we both work in very different environments. It's very rare that I am up and working during the day. As far as like insults, I don't really get a lot of productive insults. I've had people come onto like the channel when I'm on TikTok, which isn't very often as far as like going live on there, and literally go in and say like you're ugly. So like literally
Cool.
they're like they're dumb insults.
Nobody's
They're not
me, so
they're not worth my attention, honestly. They're literally little things that don't bug me. Like, okay, well, you can move on. You don't have to stay here.
And I do get a lot of people who say that my children are like adorable and like they don't mind it. And I do try to like,
Kids are cute.
you know, keep it to a minimum. But sometimes Jagger just wants to show his toy.
There's on the way up here, my daughter and my husband got into a your mama argument where they were both saying your mama. And I was just thinking, well, they're talking, and like by my daughter and my husband, I mean my 2-year-old and my 31-year-old husband were both saying your mama back and forth. And so they're talking about me and they're talking about my husband's mom, so their grandmother. I don't think my 2-year-old knew what she was saying, but it was funny.
I keep my personality kind of consistent across the board. So, like, my dry sense of humor I use with my children. So every so often, I'll tell my son I'm going to throw them in the trash. I won't actually before anybody calls like DCF on me. But on occasion now, he'll be like, "No, Mama, you go in the trash," and I'm like, "Thanks, buddy."
Mine put me in timeout. Though my daughter calls timeout jail, so she'll go put you in jail. I don't know why. That she did not hear that from us. I don't know where she got it, but she just says, oh, "You're gonna go to jail now," and she'll lead you to a room and she'll put you in the room. Says you're in jail.
Mine,
Thanks.
after I work out, I'll be like, well, "Man, I got to shower," and he'll be like, "Yeah, Mom, you're gross. Go shower." I'm like, "Cool, bud, thanks." So the insults for my children, I gotta say, will hurt more than like a stranger on the internet, and I know my kids don't actually mean it, so
No.
it just is what it is. And if somebody is being that negative, I think there's a difference because I've got a strong personality, so I'm not afraid to disagree with people on the internet. Like I might even comment specifically on somebody's video to disagree with content, but I personally am never like attacking the person as a person. I'll just be like, I disagree with this viewpoint, and like here's why I think this is like not right. And that kind of thing doesn't bother me. So like anybody who's like, well, I don't think I could price like that because of this, like I respectfully disagree, but like you're welcome to have like all of your opinions.
There was,
So
if you feel comfortable talking about it, the one incident
What
with
was the
your
incident?
Instagram,
Remind me.
the other crochet channel.
Oh yeah, some other crochet channel. I put out a pattern, and this kind of thing gets me a little bit fired up. So here's the tea.
It's worth being fired up for.
I work on my patterns a lot, and maybe I'll do a video about like how I write patterns one day. And I kind of did a video about it, but she basically blatantly told me I stole her pattern because the face was similar. Baby, what?
The bodies were not at all similar. I did go back and see, and I wanted to look for myself.
It was two giraffe patterns. So my giraffe lovey and another person's giraffe lovey. Neck down was totally different. I did put my spots in a similar placement, I will say. But like I like hot glued on my spots, and it was like a whole like different vibe because of the style of like lovey that I made, or snuggler, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, the face was similar because most giraffe patterns have horns, ears, and then a snout.
It looked like a giraffe.
I
Hers
don't
looked like
know
a giraffe.
how
Theirs
to
looked like a giraffe.
make a giraffe that doesn't look like a giraffe, and I'm sorry you feel this way, but she only said that because I had recently bought a giraffe pattern from her, but I'm so sorry. I have a filing cabinet full of patterns, so I almost guarantee any pattern I put out, I'm gonna have bought a pattern of it in the past because at that time I didn't know how to make my own patterns. And like there's only a finite number of animals on this planet that I can make a pattern for.
So yeah,
you don't
that
see
stuff
All Jane
happens.
coming at me for also having a giraffe.
That stuff does indeed happen. She handled it very well. Yes, she's fired up about it, but she was not mean or rude to the person.
No, I'm like I respectfully disagree, but she just kept saying like that I was gross, that I was like trying to mess up her business, that I should get my own ideas. And I was just like, I respectfully disagree. Like, I could see why you're saying it's similar. We both made giraffes. But, like, my pattern, 3/4 of it is just entirely different than yours. I'm sorry that you feel like the face is the same. But also, there is no other way to make a face. And the face for mine, the snout I used, came from my dragon snout. I just kind of scaled it down from my own dragon pattern. So I literally modified one of my own patterns to make this snout. So it just had really nothing to do with hers, and I'm sorry she felt that way. But she lost a customer because I have like 10 of her patterns, and now because she's a little bit of a nasty person, I will not be buying patterns from her because it just was not handled well. She didn't say, hey, this kind of looks similar. Like, she just came at me and then tried to dox me because she posted about it.
It was offensive, and then they did put her they put her information out there. It was a thing.
All
so
2 of her
it's
20,000 followers messaged me. So then I also thought, I feel like she's buying followers because if you only got 2 people coming to your rescue out of 20,000.
I don't recommend buying followers, by the way. You're going to get if you start Instagram channeling, you're going to get the post. They're going to be like, buy this many followers. If they're not engaging with you and they're not buying from you, then what's the point?
It's not helping your stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to show you this editing thing real quick so I could get to editing. Oh, wait.
Real quick, Nikita asked the question.
you're good on the questions. We need something to talk about. First 5 steps for a new crochet channel. Let's see. Start your channel. I don't know if that's too basic. And I don't remember how I did it because like I was like a listener on YouTube first, but you can turn your like listener account into like an actual like posting account. Pick a business name.
Tell people you have a channel.
Don't worry, you can change it. Oh, that just I think connected to my vehicle. Can you guys hear audio wise? Did we disappear? Can we turn my Bluetooth off?
We can.
Hold on just a second.
Can you guys hear us? Did we go out for a little bit?
Hello.
Okay, they said
Okay. Cool. It looked like it connected to my van with like Zach driving up. And I was like, oh, maybe you guys hear my car noise that I'm not in and not me.
Hi.
Get right.
This one
It's a
belongs to
bot.
her. I won't say her name because I don't know if like you want to put that on the internet.
Oh, we don't normally.
Okay.
But this one's mine. Okay, can you go? What are you doing?
I can't eat you.
Go.
Oh,
I
she's
can't
trying to
eat you.
Okay.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
That's good.
Question.
Okay, so
But yeah, I would start
no, you
a
cannot sit
YouTube
with
account if you don't
Because
already have one
we're
as a
doing something.
listener. I would pick your business name. Don't worry, you could change it later.
me. Man.
Preferably something that says crochet in it. So like if somebody's searching crochet, you get a little extra boost because your business name has crochet in it. And then what else? A picture so people know you're an actual person. If you're comfortable with that. I know not everybody is.
Mom,
What?
if Ella and me got the same toy,
Yeah.
That's
if Ella
cute.
and me got the same toy.
You go over there and play, please.
Go.
Mama.
Come on. You gotta go play.
Go play. Can I have a drink over there? Can you go get it? Not you. You go get it. Over there.
Yeah, picture if you're comfortable, and then
Nice.
start recording. And I will. Am I allowed to put something in the chat? Does that work like that?
You can type it right here.
Can we get this girl's
What?
YouTube? Because if you're not fully comfortable like researching and making like crochet videos yet, this girl that I found has just a basic like 30-day challenge. They're kind of questions about yourself. So that require minimal editing. So if you don't have like editing skills yet, you can just get comfortable being in front of a camera by doing this series. And then you have like a little like get to know me section too, which I think is cool.
Mama.
You cannot climb up here. Get down,
Really?
please.
Come over here.
You're scaring
Go to
me.
dad. Go to dad.
Her shirt's cute. I like that.
Yeah, I'm just getting my back.
You're just getting
I
yourself.
can't see very far even with my glasses on, so I'm only there.
Oh, we should
Don't laugh at me.
copy
My
and
husband's
paste
laughing
it.
at me.
Oh, hey. Well, you know what we should do? I'll send it to you on Facebook, and then you copy and paste it in.
That's true. Okay, we're gonna try to get that channel in for you guys.
But yeah, I would just use her series. I'm gonna use her series too, to like make a little get to know me 30-day posting every day, and just have like a little series about that. But you can use this challenge before you get into crochet content to like build your like public speaking skills as she
Oh,
puts
you
it
broke
in her videos.
Oh, you broke No one do everything for your child. No, not that.
Okay, so we just plugged that in the comments for you.
But yeah, basically it all comes down to just start. That'd be step one, is really just start. And then you could practice in ways. And then you don't have to worry about the like SEO part of it, which is search engine optimization, which is how to like write tags and descriptions and titles for the algorithm. That's like way advanced stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to editing skills, really it's just trial and error. So as you keep going, it will be it will kind of work itself out. You're gonna figure out what works for you.
Thankfully, there's a lot of YouTube videos for different platforms about how to like edit this and edit that and use this feature on this platform and that. And that's how I learned, just watching tutorials and following along. But I wanted to show you.
What are we asking?
flowers?
Is that your people friend, Zach?
I don't know, because I don't add these type of clothes or make jewelry. I think she wants to know if it's like similar to like embellishing jewelry, because there's people that like sew on beading and stuff.
Are you asking if I do that or if like in jewelry making in general does that?
I think she's asking if it's like just a similar type of skill, like if it translates over.
I mean, I can stitch beading into jewelry, and I do bead work. I work with the gemstones, like little micro beads are like 2 millimeters, and specifically like rubies, sapphires. I use like actual gemstones, and I do solid metal pieces as well, and sterling silver and in gold.
I thought Zach came in without Judah. I'm like, no, he's still in the car. So sorry it's a little loud right now. The kids will settle. They're just getting back from the splash park, so they're just a little extra. And there's 4 here today because she's got 2 and I've got 3, but one of them's not, so 4 in total. But yeah, I think it could be similar, but she does a lot of like, you don't have a ring. Yes, you do. She like can set stones like into rings and stuff that I feel like wouldn't carry over to like embellishing clothes, but some of it could because it's like similar.
For ideas, I made a wedding tiara not too long ago for a friend who wore it during her wedding, and so she sent me photos of it that I talked to her about, but I wanted to post some of them. And then I did not set these stones, by the way. I did not set my own wedding example. But yes, I could.
I don't have any stones on my rings, so I had no example because I don't know that everybody knows what setting a stone is. I feel like that's kind of basic, but also like if you're not a jewelry person.
I mean, if you're not a jewelry person, yeah, there's no reason to know it. Okay.
Yeah, you have fun, and this will be up later, and yeah, happy 4th.
We hope you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for coming, and all that.
Listen to the podcast.
But let me show you how to do this, because I'm going to move everything before the red marker to the end, because I'll cut this down for bloopers later.
I think I figured that out.
So I do a right click cut. I make sure I'm on the part I want to move. I copy
You do
it.
not need to be that long.
I delete it. I then drag the red marker all the way to the end.
Oh.
And then I just paste. Or I could do, you know,
So,
paste.
can I show you what I was doing?
Yeah. That's why I kept trying to tell you, like, it's copy paste.
Well, I mean,
Oh, well, you can cut and paste that way.
I was
too.
gonna say you could cut it here, hit there, and then you just go over here, and then you would paste here.
Yeah.
But if I paste it, it's gonna show you the same video because you just did that.
Yeah, so just make sure, and you know, you're using cut instead of just copy, so it's not in the same spot.
And then I did that way because normally when I'm deleting it, I just go into backspace and backspace it. Alright. I can't see the channel you mentioned with the 30-day challenge and stuff. Let me see if I can pull up the name if that's easier because I just put the link in there.
It's just Megan.
Hey.
Ooh, yeah, don't spill my Red Bull. I got crochet stuff. Oh, how did she get yarn?
She's sneaky.
Let's make sure we're not touching the yarn, ma'am, please and thank you.
It is not for you.
Says my dad works with stone. I'm planning on making a 1920s dress. I was going to add beaded poppies on the decoration. Yeah, I do actual stones and stuff. I know how to do the embroidery with adding like the beads into the piece, and if it's something that you'd like me to show you, I can. Or what I can do is I could refer you to people who do that on a regular basis, and I know quite a few in the community. If you message Jackie, I can send her the link, and then she can send the link to you on who you could follow that does that on a regular basis. If that's something that you just want to watch other people do.
Okay, live. I might be able to
No, you're not.
say I might be able to put a comment on my own live, like not
Come
over
on,
here,
Oh.
to make it come up like clickable
It's in
link.
there. Don't worry about it.
But I can do that after, or maybe I could put it in the description. Sorry to like interrupt.
That's okay.
I'm still trying to give her the information.
Not right now, no. Thank you, though.
I left my life up back in it.
That's interesting.
Uh,
Oh, you can edit the title and description.
Okay, so I'm gonna, I don't know if you guys can see the description yet, but I just popped in a link to the description of this live that you'll at least be able to see after the live, at the very least. And I have, what was I saying? Oh man. I put the girls' YouTube link in the description. I don't know if you guys can see the description yet, but if you can, it's
It is
there,
there.
and it should be clickable. Is what I was trying to say. Sometimes my brain shorts out, hence magic of editing. I also say a lot, and I won't lie to you guys. I also cut out every time I say because
I can read a different
it's
one.
not cute.
I cut out some of that too, especially if there's a large space. The interesting part about editing, and I'll move the phone a little bit so you can see it.
So yeah, just made thumbs.
It's gonna be difficult for a second. Let's see,
So you gotta do it sideways for long form. Okay.
like this, right?
Yeah, and then you could see it on your phone if you could see it in general.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then over here.
Okay, so it's taking its time, but down here is the audio. And then up here, you're going to see the video form of it. And the audio has deep cuts for when we're quiet.
Yeah, see this right here would be a space. So that is probably going to be something I cut. But then these peaks and valleys are us speaking. And then I'm going to show you how to add in the text that I do.
Okay. I'm going to move that back
If you
over
wanna
to
see
us.
that. And I suppose we can just live stream
I have
for
this
maybe
upside down.
like a half hour more, and then we'll get really into editing too.
Okay.
I thought we were going to be able to do both. Make sure you're not hitting the buttons.
Yeah, I was. That's why I had to change it.
Okay, cool. So this is your media pool here. You're in that. You'll want to
Yes.
go over to titles,
Okay.
and then these are your text boxes. So I just like to take text, drag it down to here where I want it.
Oh.
This is where the text is going to pop up on the screen. Then you select it. You go over to inspector and see it's basic title. That's how you do that. And I'll show you how I put a background on it. What is your background? Growing your business. And then I usually make it a little bigger. So this is size. I like a good like 120. It's big at the top. Maybe even we'll go like 130 today, since there's a little bit of space above our head. Come down here to background. Click this for color. I click the middle. That's when you could actually see the shades. And I usually go like a little bit here and like a little bit there. That's about our green.
Mhm.
Click OK on that, and then you can adjust the height and the width.
Okay.
I don't know why we're not seeing it. Oh, because it's not there. Okay. Height and then width. So you should go here.
Start image in the background.
And then, yeah. You can change how like transparent it is. But once you've got it, then you can click it and move it.
Hi, Nikita. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for joining me too.
My daughter says thank you for joining her too.
Okay, I was there too.
That's true. You were over here too.
And then here
Yum yum yum.
it's adding more tracks. So if it just says add track, that's more audio. I do that later so I can add an outro to my like videos, outro music. And then here at the top above this, you can add video tracks, and you can see the difference. This has no video, this has video.
Okay.
I'm gonna add 2 because I need to add your name and then my name. And that's how you can stack them without them like blocking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom?
I'm gonna do Rebecca. Oops, another apple. Artisan jeweler.
Mhm.
I make
Yeah.
I spelled that wrong. I make this a little smaller, usually about 80. Then I pop that in under your face. And then I listen. I'm going to put out the silence here. Another thing for doing cuts, make sure you're actually on the timeline you're trying to cut. Because if I cut here, it's going to cut this, this, and this.
Oh.
So you want to make sure you're clicked on the thing you want to cut first.
So
And
make
now
sure
I
you're
can-
clicking down here.
just wherever. If I wanted to cut here, I would want to be on that.
Yeah.
So I'm not cutting this and this.
Okay.
And then I'm going to delete that. This is a blank space that we can delete after. And now I'm starting to introduce me. Okay.
wherever you're at, you have to trim. Oh no, you just start right there. I see it.
So I deleted that blank spot, and now
Yeah.
I'm just over here. You saying cheese? You're so cute, dirty face.
Oh, because you
bud.
can see the camera.
Oh yeah, he loves his own face. Oh, that one's mine, and the other one's mine too. If you can see him.
Yes. You see Zach?
Yeah, that one's also mine, but not my child, because that'd be weird. Cheese. I can't type at this angle. And then I try to make us like the same size. So. Ooh, white shirt. Oh well. The white shirt's not great for it. And then what we can do
That's not bad.
is extend these. I like to have that up for like a minute while we start introducing ourselves, and then I will usually add us to like stop at the same time.
Okay.
So you like introduce yours is going to be up the longest, but oh, wait, you can't hear this.
No, I can't hear this.
Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast. I'm Rebecca Merker, a handmade jewelry artist. And I am Jackie Chaplin, a crochet
Yeah, I
business
think I'm
owner
gonna
and
try to put
YouTuber.
your GB down for a nap, buddy.
And then all that dead space. So I'll show you here. If I did not select it when I do my cut, this is cut and this is cut now too.
Oh.
But that's not a big deal because I could just leave that cut. But I just want to go over here now that it's selected in red and it's not cut now. Like right here. You know what I'm saying? So when I delete this, it'll just like,
It doesn't cut that out.
yeah, no.
Okay.
But it is still cut in that one spot. So you can accidentally, if you're not selecting the right thing, I could have deleted that because it like,
And then have to
it
start
applies
over.
it to everything that's touching the line unless you've specifically,
Clicked on it.
yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Today we are talking about what you need to know about events.
Just that spoiler alert, we did not just talk about what you need to know about events because we talk on tangents very often.
Yeah, so this episode that's coming out tomorrow, the podcast, you guys should listen to it because I'm not going to cut out like good, useful information. So I've kind of decided for us that we should leave that in. And now it's like an episode plus bonus content that wasn't there in the original take of the video. Yeah. So
It'll be nice. Honestly, it's not bad.
yeah, it's good. It's good, useful stuff. So if you've ever considered doing events,
me.
we cover a lot about events.
Good job. High five.
Yeah, 12 out of 10, fist bump. Being potty trained is important.
And difficult.
Yes.
Lollipop
Oh, I don't
with
have
some
any.
candy.
I don't have any. You'd have to ask Dad.
Okay.
Surprised that worked.
It works.
What were you saying? Oh, we'll probably keep this live stream going for about 30 more minutes. So if you guys have questions about crochet businesses, about events, about YouTube,
Editing.
yeah.
If you want information about the platforms, if you've checked out probably Jackie's channel because you guys are from her, so, and you have questions about it, happy to answer anything.
Hi.
Oh, what?
That's the song he likes. The one that I
Oh.
showed you this morning.
He wants you to play a song.
Yeah, anytime I'm on the phone or the computer.
Oh, we're glad to hear that.
Yes, thank you. I try. I speak more about the business side just because I have the most experience in the business side of things more so than the actual crochet side of things, if that makes sense. Because like what you learn and use in one business often carries over into other businesses. And I've had a cleaning business, I've had a business making jam and jelly, I've had a business selling my services as a content writer. So I've done a variety of different things. I've got a very eclectic resume. So I prefer to speak more from the business side just because I'm not super well versed in crochet. And that's also why I just watched that order price wise because I've never made anything gigantic. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my last video, please and thank you.
I mean, it was very
Okay.
cool though.
Let me give it.
I do something similar, but I go on to a different live streaming platform and I live stream on there twice a week. So I do create and chats because I have been in my business for 14 years. And so if somebody has a question, likely I can answer. And if I can't, I'm happy to find the information for them. But I also do a business chat that's every 2 weeks where handmade creators that are on that app are able to ask me questions directly. They're able to co-host with me. So we go over like information along that line too.
And the oven. You're so tired.
So yeah, complete opposite. She says she's been crocheting for 20 years, but is new to the business side of it.
Yeah, then you probably know 1,000 times more than I will ever know about crochet.
That means if you wanted to do a channel and you wanted to create content, you'd create content on the making of the pieces, what goes into it, what products you need, what products have worked for you, what products you bought but you don't like. You could probably explain about all that information.
Yeah, just reviewing projects that you've done. Like, this was an exceptionally cool blanket pattern, or I really liked this clothing pattern. It was laid out super, like, simple for beginners, that kind of thing.
Trends you might have noticed.
You can technically also speak on the business side and just share things as you, like, learn them. Like, hey, I found out this today, and in case anybody was like me and didn't know this before today, because I do that from time to time.
I mean, I follow a TikTok artist who she makes journals, handmade leather journals, and she shares after each event what happened during the event. She started from the very beginning of her experience with making the journals, and she's sharing it from a point of learning so that you can learn alongside with her. So that's a possibility too.
No, he's just tired. Okay. Bye, Jula. I love you. Okay. He hates me.
He does not hate you.
Because I also share some platforms. We've done a podcast about like the selling platforms we use. And I recently learned, and I don't remember if I learned this before or after the podcast, but I recently learned that if you want to start your own website and you're using something like Shopify or Squarespace, you can transfer all of your Etsy stuff over by just using like a CSV file or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And I did not know that because that's a lot of the reason why my website didn't go live sooner, because I was like, I've got 65 products. This is going to take 1,000 years.
I could have told you that.
Well, you did tell me that. You finally did. And I'm like, I've complained to you for months about how I cannot figure out like the time to get this over here, and I want my own website too. What the heck?
I don't know if you guys find it relatable, but until somebody asks you the exactly right question, it doesn't really like pop into my mind that, hey, I have a solution to that. So she's not the
golden information. I'm just over here like you really couldn't have told me this sooner. I will say,
I have multiple people asking those questions. So.
Once it is transferred over, it is important to know I have links in my descriptions on Etsy to other Etsy products. So that also gets transferred over. So now currently some of those links go back to my Etsy instead of on my website. So I do need to fix that. But it does move right over, which I did not know. And that saved me about 1 billion hours.
Made it easier.
Yeah. It's not organized like the way I would want it. It's like it's a little bit clunky because it did separate things based on how like the sections I have in my shop. But I mean, it still is going to save like 1 billion hours because 65 products, even if it only took like 30 minutes per thing, and that's generous because it usually takes longer to like make a whole listing. It just saved me a ton of hours.
Video. What are you doing?
The
You're vacuuming.
Good job.
I use
real vacuum
Shopify. There you go. I use Shopify for my main platform, and I actually use that integratively with all of my Instagram, Facebook, social platforms, and when I sell on live and when I sell in person as well. So I pretty much integrated it all together. They're not contingent on each other, so if one platform went down, I would not be at the end of my ropes, but I do enjoy Shopify's platform for everything.
I'm with Melissa. I personally am Etsy and Squarespace, and she is more just Shopify and only Shopify. She's not a super fan of Etsy.
I'm not.
She does. You do think
I don't
it has its
dislike it. It
benefits
has its purpose.
for like starting out, but I do think you can outgrow Etsy. But also, if you're gonna do crochet, like that's an especially good industry for Etsy. It is like real conducive to staying on Etsy because once you make a crochet pattern and list it, you could literally sell it thousands of times and you only did that work once. So it's essentially becomes like a set it and forget it kind of thing. So even if you outgrow Etsy, you can stay on Etsy and still make like a good amount of money. So
Well, and it's
but it
own
doesn't work for
self-marketing.
everybody. Yeah.
It's its own self-marketing, whereas Shopify and Squarespace are you have to market. Traffic does not just like show up at your page. If it does, it's likely spam. Honestly, you have to go bring your traffic to you.
Yeah.
It's more work, honestly. I like Shopify because I've tried Square and I was not a huge fan of the platform at the time. It's been many years, but I've also been on Shopify for so long.
Because a lot of people think they're the same, but they're different.
Both because I had to have a Square for the actual pin portion of it, but I used Squarespace to create one of my original websites. I've actually used quite a few of the website building platforms back before I had them.
Yeah, I've done like the Wix for the WordPress.
Yeah.
I got started on having a website like back in blogging days because I started out as like a content writer, so I've had like a website on like everything. I even had a Shopify at one point, but I did not have a good experience. Yeah. Well, I did not have a good experience with customer service, but I also felt like coming over from Squarespace, which is very much more drag and drop and like laid out easier, Shopify was just like blew my mind. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening
Shopify
here.
is a more complicated, I think would be the best platform, and not like in a good or a bad way. Not that one is better than the other. They're very niche to what you enjoy. I do have a friend who has a Squarespace who's moving to Shopify because she's wanted to move to Shopify, but it's always been so complicated. So now she kind of just asks me questions when it comes down to it, and if I'm able to answer
And
them,
there's
I
a
do.
lot of tutorials too available also if you don't have, a friend who knows the platforms.
It's a
And
lot to learn and to navigate, and if you're comfortable where you're at, moving can be a hassle.
the distinction too is important to like take note of because Squarespace started as like a blogging website kind of platform. It did not start with any sort of e-commerce. That's the selling side. It did not start with that. Whereas Shopify started as like a full e-commerce platform, did not have any blogging capabilities, and now they both do both.
Yep, they have blogging now.
But I think that's why they're so much more in depth, and I was used to like selling through like a more blog focused website, so they just had like very basic features, and like I only had very basic skills, so like it was useful.
Shopify was built more for not direct sales, drop shipping, and so many of their platforms. Oh, you need water. I don't know what you're doing. You're pointing.
You should know.
I'm sorry, I can't read your mind. I'm trying. Not really, but I could be. What was I talking about?
I'm so sorry. I do this to her all the time too. Oh yeah, Shopify with drop shipping. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, they were built
Good
for
audience.
drop shipping, so thank you. They were built for drop shipping, so a lot of their features are geared towards that, and we benefit from that as handmade sellers because they were built for people who have no platform, no marketing experience, has nothing, and then they're so in depth that when you fill things out, they help you bring traffic to you. It's not perfect. It does not work on its own. It is super beneficial, but again, if you're
It
comfortable in a space,
depends on the
it's
style
hard.
of your business too, because you keep a consistent inventory more or less, whereas I don't. So like I don't put SKU numbers on any of my stuff.
I don't use SKU numbers.
I don't bring it to like I don't have it online and at a market because like anything that I'm bringing to like a market I can just like remake to sell online also.
That's
So
true.
like I don't even count how many of like anything that I have.
I
So
don't have repeatable products. My stuff is there are pieces
I'm
I
very laid
could
back.
repeat if I really wanted to, but most of my stuff is made to order or is already made, and if I sell it, I'm probably not gonna remake it.
all that to say, it's just that has if you're full on like business and you're keeping track of inventory and you're keeping track of like what you're using to make what products. Shopify
is really
does
nice.
have that capability, and it lets you track like down to like the dumbest little thing.
Your taxes, and you can track your progress and monetary wise over the years, and you can actually go backwards and see it. And I find that beneficial in my business, but I can see where in other businesses
Well, I'm
it's a
looking
hassle.
at like the bigger picture, man. I just want to see like if my number of sales and my like amount monetary went up each year, and like that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and I need the finite details because I need to see what products are working better, what platforms are working better, are my in-person sales doing better than my online sales, and it breaks all of that down to separate categories. I have actually done videos on Whatnot where I break it down and I like flip my screen around and
She's
you
like
see
a
my
better
back
business
end.
owner. Yeah, my back end looks like, okay, I'm not out of yellow yet. Good.
That's good to know. I mean, that is good to know.
Yeah, people, and I think you should take your business serious. I do, and I think you should be aiming to profit in your business. But I also am not weighing out each gram of yarn I use. I did that to start. I know like something like this big is maybe, if that, using $1 worth of yarn and like eyes and stuffing. So I've moved past that point, and I will add up all my expenses at the end of the month, all my profit at the end of the month, and then I'll see if I'm like profiting or losing. And if I am losing, I'll be like, okay, I spent too much money on dumb stuff this month. I don't need $100 worth of new patterns. Stop it. And then I will make adjustments. So that's how I run it. It's very laid back. And I think because you've got more experience too, I think you're more of like a professional business owner. She has like a whole accountant.
I mean, I do, but he does our personal ones too. So, like, I do most of my own accounting, but when it comes to, like, end of the year taxes, that's a lot of work, and he kind of breaks that down for me and files it for me, which is nice. You know, I do think, and I might be biased, could be a little cocky here. I think some of your strong opinions on business happens from our discussions.
Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of that comes from. But you take your own take on it. You're not strong feeling about it because I'm strong feeling about it.
and
You
I'm
have
not
your
saying,
own version.
and I want to clarify because I do agree. A lot of what I feel like comes from our discussions too, and a lot of times we agree. But I don't want to say that
Yes.
I'm not recommending to like keep track of your stuff, because I do think you should keep track of your stuff. But you also at the same time need a system that's going to work for you. Tracking every single gram of yarn, every single eye I bought was not working for me doing it like that. So I just decided to go like bigger picture at the end of the month. Have I made money? Have I lost money? Okay, and then I can like adjust from there.
Well, and I would say a lot of that might be based off of her custom work too. Her custom work is based off of the yarn that she has in stock. When I do
Kinda.
custom
I do
work, we're
buy
taking
stuff.
ideas.
I did have to buy a lot for that last one.
I mean, yeah, that last one was well. Have you guys seen the last one that she did?
There's a whole video about it. It was huge.
Huge.
It weighed 12 pounds.
It's awesome.
It was awesome. It was one of the cooler things I've ever made. I had to buy 11 skeins of yarn because that's like my inexperience gets me sometimes, and I forgot because I don't use a lot of weight 7. I use a lot of weight 6. That's your burnout blanket, that kind of yarn. And I didn't realize those bigger skeins. Well, I did realize, but I didn't think it through. Those bigger skeins have about 4 feet of yarn on them. So when you're making something this big, I'm getting to hear, okay, another skein, okay, another skein, okay, another skein, all before I even like closed it. So I used 11 skeins of yarn for that thing, and typically those are $10 skeins, so that could have been $110 in yarn. Thankfully, I had some store credit and some sales going on, so it did not cost $110. But I like really, like, if I had to pay full price, would have lost a lot more than $16 on that order.
Yeah.
But I do try to like say ahead of time, you know, I can use these colors, but I also tell people that I can source stuff. But if I'm sourcing yarn for you, I need to overbuy, because sometimes, like you guys know, a color you really like will be sold out for like ever. So I have to overbuy it if I can find it in general. And you're gonna have to wait, because usually I could like do a custom order. I give myself 2 weeks per custom order. Usually I don't need the full 2 weeks, but I've got kids, so that's to like, you know,
Yeah.
build in a buffer basically, because sometimes my kid will do something stupid and we got to make like an ER trip, you know. That's a whole story. Anyway, yeah, so it just like, it's gonna change the time frame if I have to buy your yarn ahead of time first. But I do also include the price of the yarn and the price of the pattern, if I'm using one, into the prices that I set. So I have it in my description box on Etsy that this $90 you're paying is covering like the pattern or pattern creation, if I have to do it, is covering the materials, it's covering the shipping, and it's covering my labor. And like 9 times out of 10, I'm good. This 10th time here, was not great.
I will say on Lara's, when you're talking about like the different things that you're trying to combine, when it comes down to it in my jewelry business, even though I'm a little more stringent on the process that I do, I really do only make what I like. Like, if I don't want to do it, then I just won't do it. And my husband over here could probably consent to that because I'll get all excited and come out and show him projects. And I do a lot of videos of that as well.
Well, and that's a lot of the reason why I do only amigurumi, because the thought of sitting down to spend, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours on a blanket just does not vibe with me. And I am working on blankets, but it's been like a month and a half since I've touched them because I was on a roll for a little while and then I didn't feel like it.
I mean, if I just wanted to make money doing just the general process, I could go work for somebody else, honestly. So, like, why would I spend time doing something I don't want to do or I'm not interested in?
And I will say, you also said you don't think where you live is conducive to markets, and that could be true if you have the ability. And like, I know we're sitting from like a little bit of a privileged place here. If you have the ability to go further into more populous areas, because they can a lot of times be better markets,
Or create your own market. You can create your own market.
I've never done that. I feel like that would be a lot of back end work.
I mean, it's not, I'm not going to say it's not going to be work, but I will say that it's not impossible to do. You determine the size of it. So if you want 10 vendors in one spot, or you only want 4 vendors in one spot, or you want to do a big 50 vendor event, that's up to you. You get paid for it, so you're going to bring money in, which will help if you need gas money to go a little bit further for your own markets.
I don't think for this year, but I have thought about raising the idea of you and I planning an event for handmade business owners before. But I also, like, we've never done it, so I can't speak on it. And I'm worried about, like, making sure people get their money's worth, so we'd have to, like, plan out advertising for it. We'd have to know, like, do we have to carry insurance for that if we're doing it, if we're, like, hosting the event? Where is it going to be? So, like,
I'd be all for it, honestly. I've thought about it before because, again, I've been doing this for so long.
I think we could
events
host the heck out of a good event because we've done a lot of bad ones.
Well,
and we've done a decent amount of good ones. Yeah.
So if somebody didn't like our event, they would not just like slap us down and be like, it sucks.
Yeah.
That happens. South Florida. There are good events in South Florida.
Does that say 20 or 200?
200, I think. 2 something.
It's 250. Okay.
250 to.
There was a heart blocking the part of your comment, so we were trying to like make that move.
Not every event has a sign-up fee, so where are you looking at right now? Because maybe we can give you some suggestions on better places to look at. We actually mentioned a couple in this podcast.
I think, was it Naples? I feel like, I know I've talked to you before, and I'm not good at remembering. Or was it Fort Lauderdale? Ooh, there's a couple of Florida people, and now I'm getting them all confused.
I've done events in all different areas of Florida. I haven't been super far south, even though I visit Miami enough to do that kind of thing. But
I thought about going to south for an event, but you're like, you live north, so I don't know how long before you like cap off like how far south you're gonna go.
I'll go anywhere. I've thought about going to Georgia because I've heard Georgia is really, really great for events.
Boca Raton, that's what it was.
Okay, so that's opposite
kinda,
coast.
Yeah, and that could be an expensive area.
Yeah, but that means you have a more ability to make money.
Because I personally, because there are some expensive ones around here. There are some like bigger like things at equestrian centers that are like $400 or $500, and both of us like look at each other and we're like, nah, we're not gonna pay that much. Because if you think about it in like crochet hours, $250 plus a $60 sign-up fee is a lot of crochet hours before you even break even. So.
Something that we mentioned in the podcast, and not to deter you from listening to the podcast, I really hope you do because it has a lot of information, is if you're not already looking on Facebook events, look at Facebook events and then expand your reach. So don't just look within like your direct county, look counties next to your areas because there might be smaller towns next to you.
Go like 100 miles because you can filter by mileage, right? Or is it just by zip code?
I think you can filter by mileage. That might just be in Marketplace, but just in case.
Yeah, you can filter typically by like pick zip codes, within your general vicinity, And we do have a benefit because she lives a little further north, I live a little further south.
And our
So
families
we-
all live much further south.
Yeah, so we get shown stuff for like north through like clear central Florida, and her and I are like not afraid to travel for events. So like if she scopes it out, I'll be like, okay, cool, this is a 2-hour drive, but this looks good. Same thing for like some
Yeah.
of the events I've done here. Like we both did really good at the one that's 2 minutes up the road from me, you know.
Yeah,
So-
that was a great event.
That was
And then
I
ask
got
your.
mixed feelings.
I mean,
Financially, it was
financially, it was a
fantastic.
great event, and that makes a great event. I would also ask your friends and family on your Facebook. I would make a post and say, hey, I'm looking at events to do markets at for my crochet pieces. What events have you guys attended that you love? And see what they tell
Word
you.
of mouth is good because before I started my business, and then we like really got into this like doing our businesses like tandem.
Yeah.
Tandem. So I got like word of mouth from like other vendors at events I was doing, you know, to find some. So that's definitely like a beneficial.
There's been some great events. Some of them I've signed up for, and then some of them we kind of put on the back burner because A, it's hot outside, and B, we get really, really busy.
And it's like a new event, you know. So we try to do our best to vet events, and you'll learn things, and it just kind of is like the law of averages. Sooner or later, you're gonna have an event that just sucks, even if they were all going good. And same thing, if you're on like a trail end of like Suckfest, like I was the beginning of this year, you will eventually hit one that's good. You know, law of averages. So, just like keep trying, and you'll learn. And sometimes it comes from learning from doing.
Yeah, and as Melissa says, there are events. Look for vendor market events in Central Florida for groups, and join that group. We've found events that way as well. Big thing is if you see the name on the flyer, you're gonna contact that name, not anybody who says they have the information in the comments, because a lot of times that's spam and they'll take your money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Make
And
sure you're talking to real coordinators. And there was one that wanted me to pay first before like really like applying.
yeah,
I told you about that one, I think. And I was like, this seems weird. I've never had to like pay before applying, because don't I apply and then you decide if you want me and then I pay?
there are some that you have to, like, we've done application fees for that. Those do exist,
Well, that was
but this
the
was
application
not.
and
yeah.
the vendor fee like all
Yeah.
in one. So I was like,
Not the
this
same
seems
situation.
sus. And then so I went to the like venue's website and I'm like, I don't see this event listed. So I literally called. I'm like, hey, I seen online that you guys are doing an event there, but I also don't see on your official calendar like this event. Is this like legit? Because I don't want to pay for something and get all like my dollars stolen. And she's like, no, yeah, our calendar doesn't like update that far out, but this is a real event. So like, don't be put off if you have to pay first, but also make sure you're doing your due diligence if you do pay first.
I will also
to make
say
sure.
that most of my
Call.
events range between $65 and I think we talked $150 is about where.
The most I've paid so far is $140, but I would go up to $150 because like, what's the difference?
And I do a lot of 2-day events and
I've done
3
everywhere
days, so.
from free to $140, and my free one, the most I've made there, it's like $500, which isn't terrible for a free one.
It's pretty amazing for a free one.
Yeah,
Honestly.
not terrible. Did not hurt my feelings at all, and it was my first one there. The second time I did that same free one, I didn't make as much, but like we're already off to a good start, so I'm not mad.
Oh yeah.
And then I typically don't go over 50 unless it is a big like festival style, something like the Strawberry Festival that we've done, that they do like every year, or like the Pioneer Days, that's a festival. So if I am paying closer to the $100 range, it better be.
We have
Good
one we
stuff.
applied for in High Springs. We should hear about any time now, where we had to send the application and the vendor fee off in checks.
That's not High Springs. High Springs was Pioneer Days. You're talking about Macintosh.
Okay, Macintosh. So we did do that one, and like that one made both of us nervous because we had to mail that out to them. They didn't just accept it. It wasn't virtual, and they don't tell you if you're
Yeah,
accepted. So we
it's
have no
July.
idea still. Yeah, we should find out soon.
I need my stock. This is supposed to be, and I don't know because I've never done it. It's October, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it October? Okay.
I
I don't know anything today. Sorry.
It's basically in a neighborhood, and they set up with everybody in the neighborhood, and people will like almost drive through it because it's that big of an event with like 20,000 people. So I'm like concerned about stock on that one, especially because my last couple of events finally this year did not suck. except for that like one random Beasley Farms one. That was the whole thing. But yeah,
I have a few
I'm just
ones that
nervous.
have sucked this year, but I did have
I was on a roll starting from like the word go this year. I got robbed. Beasley Farms asked me to take my stuff out of the store. I made like $35. All my stuff ended up in the mud. That describes like 3 to 4 different events, like back to back to back. And I'm like, just like, run me over, please.
Yeah, some years are red. Sometimes I find an event and I'm like so excited about it because it's a continuing one. And I know one of them, me and my husband were both really excited about because it was out in the middle of nowhere. Not excited about that part, but I made a ton of money and I wasn't expecting to at the event because of where it was located. And they literally canceled it the next year because the coordinators moved. We've done a lot of events that are super profitable. I did one that was a Mother's Day event and it was in the middle of a neighborhood. It was inside. It was ran by like the homeowners association there. When I got there, I was referred to it. And then when I got there, I did not expect to make a lot of money. And that was an amazing event. It didn't even have a lot of people.
Like a handful of vendors, like literally less than 10, wasn't it?
It was 7, I think. I think there were 7 vendors. And then I did the botanical gardens that I really love. If to give you an ideas of where you can look for places, they do an event and they have vendors. And at first they only did one event a year, and I did theirs. And they invited me last year to their fall event. That event had 3 vendors at it, literally 3 vendors, all different vendors. The general traffic, they didn't advertise it. They don't have to because of where they are. The general traffic they get on a regular Saturday was equal out to some of my busiest events that I've ever done as far as profit wise. So like you can look anywhere for events and find it, whether they're free, like the Mother's Day one was free. I can't get in contact with them anymore.
The one I did like up at a park, and like this was why it like blew my mind because it's like close to my house, and I live semi-rurally. Like it's not like crazy, but it's not hopping. I have to drive like 25 minutes to like a Walmart, so it's not like terrible, but it's not great. But this was like at a park and it was free, and yeah, it just happened to be a really good like event for like what it was. Like okay, $500, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All profit that day.
There's options. I know they can be hard to find at first, but once you start finding them, you start getting referred by other people and you find more and more and more, and then you get to be really picky about what events you go to.
Yeah,
it's a big contrast to where you are when you first start.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just kind of like blindly throwing darts and hoping they stick kind of deal, but then you get better at like picking, and then you'll be able to like kind of vibe it out like I don't think this sounds that good, or all right. So yeah, and we talk about that in the episode, and then I also, and I don't want to like just redo the whole episode here, because like for my own sake, I want you guys to listen to it. No offense. I do talk about some of the places that I specifically avoid, that she agreed with some of, and then just kind of ideas on if you're gonna do events there, kind of what to look for.
She had a much stronger opinion about that, so even though I do agree with her on them, they're all events that I've done in the past, and I agree that they have been failures. Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah, well, I've seen some people do okay at these style of places, and then I've seen some that have like flopped. And I just think if you're gonna do it at these places, make sure the place looks really big, like it can fit 1,000 people, or like probably not, because like, you know, you need that level of traffic to get money, to get the sales.
And I'm a big thing that if you're running an event and you don't advertise at least on Facebook, then you're not doing really much with our money, because we pay coordinators to advertise, and Facebook's free, and creating an event is super easy. I've done it a million times. It's super easy. You could just leave it there and do nothing with it, and you have still at least done the bare minimum. But you can also share it around. You can share it around too to local groups and everything, and end up garnering a lot of interest just by that.
Yeah, mine are all $25 and free. I found them on Facebook. Yeah, I do a lot of 25 to 50, and that really is like a nice range, because that's like 2, maybe 3 plushies, and then I've like broke even for the event, so I definitely like that price range.
I have to be careful about how cheap I go, though. I did do a farm one that was free, and that was super surprising. It did really, really well, because they didn't advertise that they had a market that day. It was again just their regular traffic, and we were out in the middle of like the field area, So people saw us, but they had to like make an intention to come out to us.
Yeah, and that's like a challenge.
They had a car show that day.
And she's got like higher price stuff. Like she's like an actual jewelry store, but like mobile basically. So like some cheaper events, not necessarily good for her. But we, as crochet people, tend to do more family-friendly events, which tend to be a little cheaper, and then sometimes don't even cost the customer money to get into. And that a lot of times does work out quite well.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't. It's just trial and error. And I just say if you feel like the immediate area you're using for like events isn't good and you have the capability, travel if you can. And I know that's like a privileged thing. Not everybody has the ability to do that, whether it's kids or, you know, you have an older vehicle that just doesn't like
Lack of a vehicle.
constitute travel very well. But that's why making sure not only are you doing events, but you have some like live selling options so that people you do see at events, even if it was kind of like a flop for the day, can find you later. That's why I advocate for like multiple revenue streams in a business.
Yeah.
So you're not limited to buy what you have access to like in person.
We do touch on live streaming in this podcast video, but we want to about live selling specifically. But we talked about wanting to do a live selling video specifically to go over the ins and out of that, because I do live selling, and so we can kind of walk you through what that feels like, what you do, how to talk to people in that setting. And how it compares to an in-person event.
She's gonna show me because I am very comfortable at in-person events, but I've never live sold anything. I don't even really live stream, as you guys see. There's like 6 months between. But yeah, we can go through the whole thing. She uses, what's it called? Whatnot?
Whatnot. I use the app called Whatnot
to do all her live selling. And we'll try to figure out, we'll just like live stream the live stream.
Yeah.
So I'll be live stream on, or live on Whatnot, but like we'll also live stream it on YouTube so you guys can kind of see like what's set up. So if you want to get into that like avenue, we'll try to like cover all the bases for people who don't know.
Different ways we can do that in the communities.
Yeah. Try to figure out what works.
The community's pretty amazing over there, and I found that when you're live selling, the community that pops in is pretty darn great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you want a link in the description of our podcast?
No.
She said no, she meant yes. She meant yes.
What a genius idea. I am sometimes a good business owner and other times not.
I mean,
sometimes I just don't think of things, you know? Should
you
we
gonna link a video or you gonna link the whole podcast?
How do I link the whole podcast? Riddler?
Maybe they're sharing it.
Get a shareable link? Okay. Good thinking. Oh, I was just gonna start at episode 1. Episode 1 then plays episode 2, which plays episode 3.
Sometimes.
It should, because I literally set that up. Now I have to go check to make sure. So I'll let you handle. Wait, I had to do it. Well, I'll send you that anyway. Where is it? What am I doing? Here. I gotta go to the live, and then I'm gonna label this link. Hold on.
Sure.
Okay, we'll call this ideas.
She's plugging it into the description now.
For
Video content.
and then, sorry, Megan, you go below our ender.
When you're listening to the podcast, you should know that even though you can't necessarily tell, because we do a decent amount of editing, the tangent where we're talking back and forth or like conversing, that is like 90% of what we do, and then we just cut out the parts that are not relevant to the podcast.
This has almost been like the format for our podcast episodes, honestly.
We just talk back and forth.
Yeah. We'll just think, oh yeah, we should talk about that, and then we'll go on that. And then somehow this was supposed to be about markets, then we went into pricing, then we went into like learning and how that's like a good resource for like your business, but also how that can be like tax deductible.
And she plugged in her book. She should plug it in again.
Yeah. Buy All From Jade's book. It's awesome. I really like it. She covers like everything in this book. If you guys have not seen the video, you should watch it.
if you watch the podcast videos, currently aside from the one we just did, if you're watching them on YouTube and you can see the video, those are being videoed from my studio. Right now we are in what is her studio / living area.
Yeah, my living room. That's why it's loud in here.
You show me the happy one.
Because people are living. And
Hi, welcome in.
Oh yeah, hi. Well, you're late to the game. Just kidding. It's okay. This will all be like available like after the live ends, so you can like watch it all back. I feel like there was some useful information, and me being myself.
Yeah, that's what you were just hearing just now, her being herself.
I'm so sorry. I usually cut this part of my videos out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I clean it up a little bit, just a little.
She means it all in good humor, though.
I
She's
do.
not meaning to
I
be
do.
anything else. She's
Angry.
a very nice person.
It's a magnet, yeah.
Well, we've talked about everything, so that's.
I'm not magnetic.
But if you're interested in rewatching the video and just kind of seeing through, we're working kind of on editing a video. She was showing me some of the details because we both jointly edit our podcast. She does a lot of the more fine tuning and like the better details.
She does the original like once over where she gets a lot of like the dead space and the tangents out, which
It's some
is a lot. Like it is impactful to the video because it like establishes like a good flow, and then you guys don't have to listen to us like complain about like our husbands for 15 minutes. Sorry, just kidding. Oh, he's asleep anyway.
They're literally
Rude.
they're both like right here.
I wanted to be a troll. But yeah, so she does a lot of that, but then I have the good technical skills. Just kidding. I know how to
She
put
has
the
more
words on the screen,
experience with
so
it.
I then go back and put the words on the screen.
She
That's about it.
She does more than just that.
That's what I bring to the table here. I can make it say our names.
She also helps it make a very cohesive podcast because we both do an individual episode. And like I said, she goes back through the ones with mine where I'm still learning to put words on the screen and edit in specific ways. And she makes sure our podcast style doesn't vary so drastically different that it's annoying to listen to.
I really just do the edits, the words on the screen, and then like the bloopers that you see at the end, I've usually like put together. So that is really
The funny sections, like
The-
where we would like edit into the short part, which is mostly what you see in tangents on the live video.
Yeah. Me falling out of a chair almost that one time. That's great. It's a good time. Anything that is just like a little too provocative for the episode, we'll like bleep it a little bit, put it at the end.
Provocative, like what?
I don't know. Sometimes I curse, and I don't know what's allowed really on
I don't
YouTube
think-
before we get demonetized. So,
I don't think
Okay,
cursing
fair
and provocative are like, I don't think that's the right word.
well, earlier my camera had the audacity to die in the middle of my sentence, so I flipped it the bird and told it to f off.
But you can't see that because it died.
Yeah, so like I then
We do talk
told
about
the
it, though.
camera when it turned back on that it had the audacity to die right in the middle of my tangent, and I was offended. So that'll probably make the blooper reel.
I mean, it works out though. The videos are nice. Like we said, when we're doing the podcast, it literally is just like what we're talking about here, where we're just
Yeah.
talking to each other, to a camera. We do try to look at the camera, but you might notice that we look at each other a lot because that's the conversation. It's meant to be a conversation.
Well, and that's the format of a podcast. So if you guys are like, you know, unfamiliar with what the difference would be between like a podcast episode versus like my YouTube episodes tend to be a little more polished. I try not to get tangenty because like I need the title and like the thumbnail to like tell you what the video is about, so I don't want to go too far off base with that. But like podcasts are typically conversational, so we can leave like a lot of that in, though I do try to like send some really irrelevant stuff to like the back, so it's information first and then some fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I do that. My brother is a Twitch streamer, and so I've actually had him help me a lot with editing and learning different styles, and he's actually put me onto certain platforms to be able to go live or to just do general video content on. So I understand getting that like extra help when you can.
yeah, any help. She's helped me with a lot of stuff, and I know everybody like doesn't have a Rebecca that they can go to for like business stuff, so that's when I really advocate for like YouTube. There's so much on YouTube that's helpful. tutorials for like crocheting things, tutorials for how to edit something, just videos about comparing this camera to this camera. If you don't know what kind of like camera to get and you're ready to like buy a camera, videos about like what you need for markets, everything. And then some YouTubers are really put together, and not only will they tell you in the video what to bring to a market, they'll even have a PDF that you could download and print out so you can like check it off as you go. Did I do that when I first started? Hell yeah, I did, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm a very like list oriented kind of person, so I'd like tell me what to do and how to do it.
We talk about it in some of the podcast episodes. I've talked about it on my whatnot videos as well with other people, because I guess this all around goes about when I'm doing a live video and it's just me talking. Apparently, I don't see it, but apparently I look very put together with my stance and what I'm saying and like how everything is going about. And my office space does not reflect that, because that is not my personality. Whereas Jackie is very, very, very put together. Like everything is how it's supposed to be.
I kind of agree, but also kind of disagree. There's a certain amount of not put together that I can tolerate, but even in my chaos, like I know exactly what's in that stack of papers right there, and it's like this thick, because like
I know what everything is in my chaos, but it's not put together because honestly, like organizing it is its own separate project.
I have mental illness, so that's a lot of like I'd like to say like this is a perk, but I've got something called obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Basically, it means I like things just so, and I'm bound to like not be a pleasant person if it's not.
OCD.
No, personality disorder. I'm not. The difference between OCD and OCPD is like OCD, like a lot of those kind of people. And if you have OCD, and I'm getting this wrong, please correct me. And I'm so sorry, and this is not meant to be offensive. But a lot of people with OCD think something bad will happen if they don't do something this way. So they'll have to like flip the light switch like 8 times, and then like, you know, wash their hands 8 times. And like, that's like really in like an overgeneralization. Whereas me, I get very brand specific with the things I buy. Like I could not buy off brand, like store brand things for like a lot of years because I just I don't know how to like describe that feeling to people. It gives me like anxiety, and I can do it now. And like a lot of like, you know,
save yourself some money.
Therapy has like helped that. And I still am just kind of like, when we wash the dishes, we need to rinse out the sink, please, kind of way. And I tend to be like a little aggressive when overwhelmed, and that's just how my like anxiety manifests. It then manifests as like aggression. That's why when I like am doing these videos, when I'm like I feel heated, it's because it gives me anxiety when you're doing it wrong. I'm so sorry.
Not me. She'll just tell me the anxiety straight up. She's talking audience wise.
Yeah, no, because I'm not doing it to like make anybody feel bad. I just believe there's like a right way of doing things and like a less optimal way of doing things. And like, I just feel like we should all be doing it like the right way because it benefits you. And I like care a lot. That's why I want it to benefit you.
I'm definitely of the thought process of there are better ways to do things, but not every way will work for every person.
And I do get that. But there is no situation in which underpricing and like not making a profit in your business is like really okay.
No. There's not. But you're definitely jumping into podcast things. Have a good night, Melissa. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, it'll be here.
And then Mumsy Makes Crochet wants to know how long you've been on YouTube.
In March, it was 1 year. So March to April, May to June, June to July. So about 1 year and 4 months. And I monetized about 4 months in. So I've now been like monetized for exactly 1 year. And then we talked about earlier, I know you asked like what you missed. We talked about a lot. So this will be like available for playback. But I said earlier that I had no like video experience before doing YouTube. And that's where I like push a lot of like fake it till you make it kind of vibes. Because you just practice.
And I have a YouTube channel, and I definitely show up on every other platform, Instagram, Facebook, and I have for years. YouTube, I'm working on it. I'm trying to put the videos out there. I just don't. Honestly, there's not really an excuse for it. I just don't do it. And I'm
Well,
trying. I am
That's the same way.
making them.
Go check the last reel I posted on Instagram. How long ago was that? Probably like 2 or 3 months.
I do keep up with my Instagram, my reels. I do post TikToks, and I go live streaming on Whatnot pretty regularly, twice a week. So
The thing is, and I've had to get better at this too, and this was hard for like my mental illness also. I had to accept that doing everything I could do was doing enough, and that was good enough, instead of
true.
having a list and then being like, wow, I'm such a POS. I only got half the stuff on my list done. But the thing about running a business is
Watch
it's
out.
literally never ending.
no, but
Down.
Judah likes to do that too. That's funny.
Down.
They're trying to scale my like TV stand. It's okay. My baby does it too.
it's just heart attacks.
It's very stable if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, darling, your baby can go to the hospital and get an X-ray. Mine cannot.
Oh, I'd never even thought about that perspective.
Yeah,
That's
she
true.
terrifies me.
Yeah.
My baby's a cancer survivor, so she can't get like X-rays and stuff. So when she's climbing on things, I am nothing short of terrified.
Not that I let mine necessarily climb, but I don't worry too much because I know my TV stand's not gonna like topple over and like take out everything, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's why mine's mounted on the wall.
I forget that perspective because I like have not had to deal with that.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, that is
I'm
a good
very
thing.
happy for you.
No offense, I
It's
like my
not.
perspective.
I'm not offended at all. We are very happy for you. We would not wish that on anybody.
And I'm very happy that she's doing very well.
Yeah. We got how long have you been crocheting for?
Also only like a little over a year, like a year and a half now. I started in November 2022. And then I started my business in December 2022 because Delusion told me it was a good idea to try to sell something that I probably had no business selling immediately.
In other
But-
words, she liked it and she had business experience, and so she moved it forward.
I've got what I call a too much gene also, that I gotta just like full send everything. I can't just crochet for fun.
Quote.
I got it from Jenna Marbles back in the day, RIP to her channel. That's the whole reason why I wanted to do YouTube. I grew up watching Jenna Marbles on YouTube. If you're not familiar and you're like a grown-up adult, you probably won't like her. But if you're around 30, you may be like good to go check her out because she's fun. But she stopped doing YouTube and it like broke my sad little heart. But I've got a too much gene. I have to full send everything. I can't just like make jam. I gotta sell jam. I can't just crochet. I gotta sell crochet. I can't just like clean. I have to start a cleaning business, and I just monetizing my hobbies. And I got into running recently. Ask me how often I run every day now because my too much gene won't let me chill the F out.
And it's also healthy for you. Jackie is pretty. She is very honest about
you.
when she
No.
started.
I'm sorry.
You don't let her choke over here, okay? She's
I'm gonna die.
she's very honest about when she started, about the business progress, and what she's doing along the lines. And so when you're watching her video, she's talking from the point of view of somebody who started her business, is getting out there, and is into her second year of business. And so she's giving you the honest thoughts that, you know, you might have going into your own business, that not everybody might be comfortable either asking questions or, you know, just stating the facts about it. Like when she talks about pricing, it's something that I rant and vent about with my own audience, but not everybody's comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
They should be, but they
And
aren't.
I will say, if you're underpricing just because you don't know better, that's okay. And you're not who I'm getting fired up with. And we all like start there. I was nervous to price like for profit when I first started, and Rebecca's like, you gotta like do that.
Yeah.
that's
From the
like
beginning.
step one. You really do have to do that because there's no
Jackie
point in
thinks
running a
she's
business.
mean about it when she's talking. Like if you guys have watched her one video, she thinks she's mean about it when she's talking about
I
pricing,
said
and
that,
I am
that was
flat
a
out not
scary
nice.
video. It's like, oh, it says you're reconnecting. Did we cut out? Hopefully not. But like 3 videos back, I did a video about pricing, and like I got a little fired up in it, and I literally sent it to Rebecca first to watch. I'm like, is this okay? Because I really did not want, you know, all 3,000 subscribers come into the comments to call me like an a-hole, because like that maybe would hurt my feelings. One bad guy here and there is not too much, but like when you get a couple thousand saying you're like being nasty, like I just didn't want that to happen. So that one was like very, very nervous for me.
Happy 4th of July, Rosie's craft creations. Thank you for joining us.
I love Gemini marbles. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. And what made me start?
Oh, happy voting day.
Oh, that's
Hopefully you guys are getting better progress in your country. Better progress.
yeah. We don't even need to go down that
I
rabbit
mean,
hole.
I've got a vote shirt on.
Oh yeah, you gotta read it. It says vote like
Ruth sent you.
Ruth sent you. Yeah, it was
Which is
backwards,
definitely
so
a
that was
very-
hard to.
Yeah. It's definitely a very.
Oh hey, it's right on the video though.
Yeah, I know. Oh, is it?
Yeah, you're flipped. That's cool because somebody commented early on in my like YouTube career that all my videos were backwards because like they're like, why is your tattoo backwards? And I'm like, listen, it's not. It's just how it looks. But what made me start? Well, what had happened is, and this is trigger warning for anybody, my sister passed away and I had to go to Missouri to help my mother pack up my sister's house and whatnot. And earlier that year, my grandma, who fun fact I was named after, but spelled different because my mom's weird, she passed. So my daughter was going through my grandma's things at the house in the middle of all of us doing all the things, and she found some like knitting needles and some crochet hooks, and my mom let her have them and some of them and brought them back to Florida. And my daughter was like fiddling around trying to learn off a tutorial, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure from my like very limited experience making chains and like a square from when I was a child with my grandma that you're doing that wrong. Let me try to like hop on the YouTube and figure it out. And I cannot not be good at things. It very much bothers me because I've got like a competitive spirit. So I just kind of like picked it up to help her, and then I just kept it. So why did I start? She was doing it wrong and it bothered me.
So long story short, Robert's laughing at us.
Condolences.
Laughing at us over.
Oh, thanks. This is a lot. This video is a lot. I think this is the most honest I've ever been on my channel. But yes, my condolences for you, and that's so sad.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it really does.
That's okay. We're probably going to be getting off soon.
Because we were supposed to be off about 30 minutes ago, based on what I said.
Thank you for joining us, though. We appreciate having you in here and asking questions.
Yes, yeah, I appreciate it. And baked ziti sounds fire for dinner. I'm eating carbs again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Are you eating meat yet?
I am eating meat. So I was vegetarian, which is like high carb, but then I was not getting a lot of protein because I don't know. There's just not a lot of protein in plant-based stuff. You can get enough to survive, so.
You have to actually like go like find the
But
protein.
in like a half a cup of black beans, it's 120 calories for like 7 grams of protein. And I'm trying to like lose some weight right now, so I'm watching my like caloric intake. So to get more protein, because I'm like weightlifting and running, I started eating meat again. And it just felt like a lot on the body to like eat like high fat meat, but also like heavy carb meals. So I kind of went to like meat, but like low carb vegetables basically. And I did that for about a month, and now I feel like I'm good transitioned. So I'm eating carbs again, and like pastas and chicken and all the things. So it's good. I have no moral feelings about food whatsoever, so I pretty much eat what I want to eat. Do I think we should like torment animals? No, but I was never vegetarian for like animals' sake. I was vegetarian for like just my own sake.
Yeah.
Just because I want to be. I keep chickens. I won't eat my chickens, but I will go to the store and eat chickens, and I do feel a little bit bad about it, but not enough to not eat chicken. I'm so sorry.
I feel like that's a whole complicated issue that I'm not in the right mindset to get into one way or the other.
It's a
But I
whole
eat most foods.
debate.
So.
But I do know the majority of people eat meat, so I don't feel like this comment section is going to come at me for eating meat. And if you are vegetarian for like animal rights, I very much applaud you. and I wish I was just more disciplined because I do things just on a whim how I feel like it.
I mean, that's a reasonable reason to do things. Again, I'm not prepared for this conversation, so I'm not even gonna.
We'll move on. But yes, carbs, good, delicious. I like pasta. I don't know what I'm gonna eat later, but it'll probably be something carby because
Just tell people it's carbolicious. Like that.
yeah, carbolicious rhymes with delicious for a reason. Oh yeah, keeping chickens is really fun and it's really underrated because they're very easy animals to keep. And I like it a lot. And they're cool. They all have their own personalities. We only have about 20, but we've pretty much handled them all since like babies. So they're like good with my toddlers. And at one point, my like 4-year-old was able to like double fish chickens. He would just go up, scoop one up, scoop the other up, and just kind of walk around the yard.
I think the idea of having chickens is an amazing idea. It sounds like a lot of fun, but I just don't have it in me to take care of any more like living beings.
But you take care of plants though. It's almost the same. You got to go out and take care of your plants the same way. I like throw food and water at my chickens and they're good to go.
Yeah, they don't run away and I don't have to protect them, my plants, from the stray cats.
And they're good too because like anytime we have like strawberry tops that the kids don't eat or like watermelon rind, you know, stuff that you would normally throw away, we
Look
give
at
to
that.
our
See,
chickens.
I would probably get the evil chickens. See, that would be my luck.
Yeah, were they roosters? Because I hear roosters can be like really aggressive. I've not had an aggressive rooster, but the thing that I heard, and this is from my limited chicken knowledge from having chickens for like 2 years, is you need about 10 hens, that's the girly chickens, for like one rooster. So if you have like 2 or 3 roosters, but only like, 10 hens, that creates aggression, and then they like are not nice. But we have like one boy for like all of our like other girls, and we have about 20 in total. So he's very well. He's got options. You feel me? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And he's very happy, and he's very mild-mannered because of it.
So what you're saying is he has a harem.
Yes, yes. He's got nobody to compete with, and he's the beautiful little lavender Americana, so he's like all gray, and he's very pretty. Yes, a Randy Rooster. Correct. Yeah, he is a nice guy though.
Yeah. Maybe one day, but not right now. I do have friends who keep chickens, and I do buy eggs from them because they get enough eggs, and that is how I source my eggs
She's
locally.
never bought eggs for me.
You've never offered me eggs. Do
Yeah.
you sell your eggs?
I sell my eggs sometimes. That's another one of my random revenue streams when I feel like it. We just sold some eggs like a week ago, but also sometimes we don't because I got into a kick of eating my eggs. That's the thing about being a chicken owner. Everybody's like, oh yeah, free eggs, that's great. You can only eat so many eggs before it's like, I can't do it anymore. So then you go through a phase of selling.
I bought 4 dozen eggs
And then I
and
eat them
have
all.
eaten almost all of them, so that was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but do you buy eggs all year long? Because I don't buy eggs all year long.
Yeah, I
I've
buy
never
eggs
bought
all year long.
Maybe that's just a me thing then.
I mean, it's probably not. You have like full access to them, whereas like I do not.
I was using them to bake for a while, but that was contributing to my weight problem.
That's
but it
about
was good.
That's about it. I use them to bake. We've made egg bites. I did fried rice and did some eggs in them because I like it that way. So
Yeah, I buy.
we've done omelets. Pretty much anything you can mix them into. Plus the kids need that extra protein, and finding ways to like sneak it in there so that they'll actually eat it because like they want to be picky.
Yeah, Judah eats eggs. Jagger does not. And Jagger's like, ew, gross.
Rosemary thinks things are nice in a concept, and then once it's like reality on her plate, she's like, no, get that away from me.
If you do have a run for your chickens, usually the cats aren't too bad because we have a lot of like local stray cats, and we've never had an issue, even when they do come out to like free range our yard. But that is also going to be cat dependent because they could, but.
Some cats are friendly with chickens.
But if you get
some aren't.
hens don't really make too much noise, so they're good like neighborhood ones. In our area, we're allowed to have a rooster, but our like chicken run has to be within like off 50 yards from like our property line.
How'd you learn that?
Googling it.
Oh.
Googling it, and I had to go deep. I had to like look up like full city ordinances specifically because like just because it's county ordinance doesn't mean like it applies to like every bit. And then some of it was dependent on what's considered like agriculture property versus like, you know, urban property. So it's a whole thing. And I would love to be able to guide you guys on that, but it is a lot.
I can actually give like some information on that because for a while there I was attending my local town council, and my town only has like 1,200 people in it, like that reside in it. Our word of mouth group has over 9,000 people in it just because people join it. I don't know why.
Maybe because they're close. Can I have my Red Bull too?
Sure. I highly recommend never becoming an admin for a word of mouth group. It's terrible. But yeah, you can go into your city ordinance from your town page. You can go through them all because we had to revise them, and I was part of the revision team, and that's how I learned that people were housing horses on less than an acre of land.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to do that. That's
You're
why
not.
I can't have like
So
goats.
we had to revise things so that it matched the county.
There was not that I need any more animals because 3 kids, previously 3 dogs. One of our dogs did pass, and some fish and some chickens was like a lot. But I did look up if I could have goats, and it's a space issue. But
How many revenue streams do you have?
so a lot. I sell online felt dyes. I sell online patterns. I sell online finished makes and like custom plushies. I sell in person at markets. Those are also just finished makes. I haven't started any kits. I want to do some kits for my own stuff, but I'm not there yet. I do YouTube, which is Google AdSense. That's also tends to be where I put my like affiliate links. So that's affiliate marketing. So like if you go buy your book through my link, I get a couple of cents. It's called Ami Gritty Friends. It's by All from Jade. And it's good. What else? I occasionally sell
Lego.
I have a friend whose
Eggs.
last name is Gothier.
Is that how you say that?
I mean, that's how she says it. That's not
Gothier?
necessarily how she says it.
Yeah. Well, it's French. Is your friend French?
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
Ask her.
She lives in Canada, but she speaks French. Well, I mean, I guess that's true for a lot of Canada, so ignore me. But yeah, I sometimes sell eggs. What else? Oh, a couple of companies have reached out to me, and I've only taken one up on it, which is kind of a form of affiliate marketing, to like do reviews of their products, and then I do get commission through that. So like anybody who's like bought a Yeezy kit, I've made a couple of bucks that way. So is that 8? Is that all of it?
I don't know.
Did I get them all? You didn't get them? Okay. Eyes, patterns, finish makes in person, Etsy, or not Etsy, YouTube revenue, affiliate marketing, eggs, and then like the companies that reach out to me.
Well, you said YouTube on there. You also have to think about if you get an order from Instagram or Facebook.
Well, yeah.
Or do you count that
I
with your
guess-
Etsy because they have to go through Etsy?
I do kind of group them together, but I do on occasion do orders through social media too. But I do put that in the category with Etsy because it's the same product, just kind of like a different avenue to get there. But yeah, so about 8.
You have a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to keep up with.
It is a lot to keep up with, but saying I have 8 revenue streams sounds like I'm making all of the dollars. But YouTube, you have to get $100 in AdSense built up a month to even get paid out. And it wasn't until earlier this year, so like a year into YouTube, before I started getting $100 in AdSense, consecutive months in a row, to just get paid $100 a month from YouTube. Eggs we sell anywhere from like $3 to like $5 a dozen, so like that's not like a buku bucks. Same thing like patterns. A lot of my Etsy stuff comes from patterns, but patterns are anywhere from like, you know, $2 to like $5 on my stuff. So like patterns don't make a ton of money. That's why I like to have all of them. So like at the end of the day, I get close to having some dollars.
Yeah, been a
Says,
little
hello,
bit.
phone
You got
crafters.
your
I'm
milk?
so glad to catch a lot of yours.
That's
I
on the
hope
table
everyone
out
has a
there.
blessed day.
Is
You
that
too.
there? It's on the table.
I think that's supposed to be fellow crafters.
Go through this
Hello.
door.
Okay.
That's fine.
There's a table on the right.
Sorry, I read it as phone. I was like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's okay.
Yes.
Doesn't
Hello.
have to.
Hi. Welcome. So we have to earn. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It just, is that like equivalent to like $100? What's the conversion rate on that?
Hi, welcome in.
I wonder. I could Google it, but then I have to like move the phone, so I'm not going to. But I wonder what the conversion rate. Because why is it cheaper for you guys? Because it's sometimes hard to hit that, and it's so sad when you're at like $95, but then it's just like you don't get paid that month because you didn't hit it.
I want to welcome everybody in, and for those who are joining, this is Jackie's channel. She's Works of Whimsy Crochet. She says it's around $76.
Oh, did I do it wrong? Because this told me 64. Is that not the right price? Well, I'll take your word for it. I feel like anybody not from the United States is inherently smarter than me. So if you say something's true, I'm really liable to believe it.
It's
honestly.
not necessarily wrong, so like I'm not gonna say one way or the other.
In most cases, I'm pretty sure that's true, and that's just because our educational system, you really have to seek a lot of information out for yourself.
She has to I love that. I love that.
I was almost gonna do that, but I didn't want to like shout over the kids and then get the kids like fired up.
Wake anyone up. And Jackie is the crochet maker. I make artisan jewelers, so I'm just here as a co-host and watching the chat. And happy to answer any questions you guys have. So if you have any questions, Jackie's happy to answer any.
And I
If
will
possible,
say,
I will.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. She's a good moderator. She does the lives. I will say, for anybody who's just getting in here, because I'm seeing a couple of new people, this will be available for like a replay like after we're done. I don't know. Can they? Do you know?
No,
Can they start it over now and listen to it, like not live, or does it not?
I don't know. I mean, on
I
most
should know. I don't
platforms,
do a
but
lot of lives.
I don't know on YouTube because I've never gone live on my own YouTube, so I don't know.
Water's gone.
Your water?
My case of water.
What's the next feet?
What is it?
My case of water.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. I moved them because they were falling out.
I like how you just like pull. Are you laying on the water?
No, the cushion slid out, and when Jagger was dumping the bag out, they all slid in the couch.
I don't the water, guys. Don't judge me.
Yeah, we don't really believe in gatekeeping. We don't think that that really benefits anybody. I've never found any information that somebody has wanted to know that has been worth it for me personally to keep to myself. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
you?
I was just gonna ask, like, what do you got going on, Mumsy Makes Crochet? Like, how long have you been in business? And you know, how's it going? How's it going on your end? I don't know if that'll
I'll
let
get to it later.
Yeah, we're gonna scope you out. I could scope you out right now.
I was just gonna click you and follow you, but you know,
Oh yeah, that's probably smart.
because I'm on my business channel on here.
Are you following me?
Yeah, that's how I was able to get on.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, thank you for me. Oh, thank you.
I'm not subscribed to you. Well, I am now. Bless your heart for doing tutorials. The editing
Look how pretty
on
these thumbnails are.
tutorials just is so not my vibe, and it takes like a lot of work. So for the non-YouTubers in here, YouTube is a lot of work, but like
Wait, no,
it goes like
She's pretty close to how
full
long you've been in business.
tutorials, and then like what I do talking head. Those are like two different levels of work. The talking head videos I do, that's just like spouting out information, is like down here on work, and like the tutorials is like way up here on work. That's why you don't see a lot of tutorials on my channel, and when you do, they're bad.
Welcome in.
Dude, that's awesome. So you've got like about 11 months on me though.
Yeah.
I feel that. Oh wait, that's just for the start of my business. For the start of my YouTube, you've got like a little over a year on me. But that gives me hope that it could be at like 13,000 people by like, you know, next year. That's awesome. That's what I meant.
She's saying hi.
Oh yeah, it is the sexiest part. I could do so much more content if I didn't have to edit or pay for an editor. And for a minute there, I was paying for an editor. But like full disclosure, I was not paying for what editing is actually worth. So one, my financial situation changed because I stopped doing writing jobs and am focusing this year on just like my crochet business endeavors. And two, Marty started up her own YouTube channel, so no longer had time for me, and I could not find anybody else that I could underpay. Not that I worked really hard, because it's not fair, but it was good because I shared like a lot of my knowledge with her for free. I would have done it anyway, but she was like, "Here, you do this for me, and I'll do that for you."
Trade in exchange.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody help me with any of the editing things up until Jackie showed me the Da Vinci program on here for long form editing. Short form, I've kind of just trial errored my way into being okay at it.
I hate short form content. Like, how do
I
you
love short form content. So easy.
My brain doesn't
I
work.
videotaped
short.
myself moving silver clay pieces that weren't even fired yet from one station to the next, put a caption over top of it, a nice intro into the bottom, like a description and everything, and I was done. It just needed a trending sound.
How many views did you get on it though? Because I can pump out bad videos, but I want views,
No.
baby.
They're good videos.
I'm not saying yours are
I
bad.
guess I've never shown.
I'm saying I could do something similar, but I'm just not sure that it's going to get the kind of engagement. Yeah, she's got thousands of views on her stuff. I don't know that I can do that.
Let's see if I can find which one.
I don't know that I can do that.
This one. And
How's your carpal tunnel doing, Joe?
I mean, it hurts.
Awesome.
And that one only got 309, but the one before it got 1,208.
Well, you were scrolling for a second, and most of your views
one's
are in like the
3,000.
quadruple digits.
Not all of them, but yeah, it goes back and forth on Instagram. That's the thing, because you'll kind of see it jumps. I have some that have 93, some that have 500, some that have 3,000. Like, they jump 1,000. This is 2,085. A lot of it has to do with the thumbnail you're using, and it has to do with the trending sounds. And is your information engaging? Is it entertaining? Do people actually want to read it? Did you put your information up on the actual picture, or are you expecting them to read your caption? Because 90% of people
Nobody's
don't want to read the caption.
Yeah, that is true.
There's a lot of information that goes into it, but it's
like
not.
tiring. But I
overall
also
hard.
don't feel like I can say what I need to say in like a minute.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, there's not a lot that I like to say, I guess. I don't
thinking,
know.
like,
I give
too
information
broad,
freely, so.
Well, Daddy.
I focus more on Instagram than I do on TikTok. TikTok is a very wide audience. It's still relatively new. I have been on it for the last 2-3 years, and I do use it, but
I got on TikTok when it was called TikTok. I was not on it when it was Musical.ly, and I never did Vine.
yeah.
So like that was kind of the natural progression of those platforms. So I'm relatively new to TikTok. I am I'm down to like 800 now, but I did peak at like 1,000 followers on TikTok. But TikTok is also still hard. I know you get up to 10 minutes, but the nature of short form content does not work for me, because on pretty much every platform, it's got like a shelf life of like 24 hours before
It
all
does.
that work you just did is like irrelevant.
Do you know how you boost your shelf life?
Oh, how is that? Reshare the same shit?
No, you go in there and you comment on it, or you send me, or you send somebody here to go comment on it, or one of you guys sends one of your friends to go comment on it, and then it goes up for another 24 hours, and then it's getting more views. You also share it in Instagram. You share it to your stories, always. You can do that with TikTok. You can do it with Facebook. You connect your Facebook and your Instagram, and then it's going to portray on both your Facebook and Instagram stories, which gives it double the views because people are seeing it on both platforms. And Facebook is a great way to grow. I know there are people who are saying, who'd like to say that Facebook is kind of like a dead end, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. You're going to
I
actually
don't
get more
think
views on Facebook.
it's dead, but I do think that's situationally dependent. I've seen a lot of people with crochet do well on Facebook, but for like my cleaning business stuff, like I could not get the page to take
It does
off.
depend,
Like,
yeah.
Like
Well, it
at all.
depends on the type of content that you're taking. Those cleaning videos that are super aesthetic, TikTok loves them.
and I wasn't doing any like video content then because this was before,
Yeah.
and I didn't have like I hadn't finished my marketing degree yet, so I didn't fully have all of the knowledge that I do now. So that is also like dependent on like if you know enough to make it work.
Yeah.
But I find Facebook and Pinterest to be very hard.
I like Facebook. I understand Pinterest much better than I did even like 6 months ago. I don't use it the way that I should, and I highly recommend, like in crochet and my business, utilizing it because it is the highest driving from traffic to actual like sales for your website.
And I seen that when I was using it, but I also I'm the kind of person where even if I'm doing it wrong, I'm gonna do it, and I might look dumb because I'm doing it wrong, but sometimes I get lucky.
You're doing
Which
it.
is kind of how my like YouTube came to be, because I did not know
So like the cool thing
anything.
about Pinterest is photo based, though they do have videos now. But you do your photo, you can put your caption or whatever in it if you want to, but you make a really catching title and then you link it, and people click that link, and it could go to your YouTube channel to monetize further on that. It could go to your website, it could go to your Instagram, it can go wherever
Maybe
you
I
want.
should start making. And
I bet.
Mumsy, Miss Ma'am, you have a YouTube channel too, so that's a good advice. But maybe you and I should start making some like pins. That's what they're called, right?
Yeah, they're pins.
For our current videos, and like getting that content up to like refer back. Because you got a lot of stuff, so like short, and you might be already using Pinterest because you seem like really a lot more
She
together
said she
than I am.
has used Pinterest. So like literally,
See,
you're
it
just
is
taking your
confusing.
thumbnail, and if you have a short video thumbnail, that's even better because it's gonna get more views. People like videos, especially if they're repeating, because it triggers the endorphins in the brain. But that's a whole separate thing.
And you seem like you're already good at like the picture taking. We're still on your
Page
YouTube, by the
up
way.
here.
Just scoping you out.
Yeah, so you do that and you link it back to your YouTube channel, and that's the purpose of Pinterest. Pinterest is a viewing app, and instead of like most platforms want to keep you on the platform, Pinterest makes most of its value by sending you away from their platform, because you're going to come back because they have valuable ideas.
And it's more like evergreen kind of. That's why I like YouTube, because I can make a video about something, and then like a year later it can take off. Or I'm like still getting views on like the little comparison video I did between like Bernat Blanket and Premier Yarns, which I really should redo. I think I kind of did redo it at a point. Anyway, but yeah, if you take this like cute little bunny rabbit paperclip thing, that's pretty freaking awesome, by the way, and make that a pin for like Easter time, then when it like comes around to Easter and somebody's looking for like an Easter project, that can like link right back to that, and that'd be sick.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, I love talking, and Jackie knows I love talking about social media, the business, like the little aspects about it, and I go very tangenty on it, so like I'm always happy to answer questions, and I should do videos on that. Honestly, that's probably what my YouTube channel should have on it,
Yeah.
but I just tend to not. But I mean, I should, because I do enjoy talking about it, and I will go very tangenty and kind of
Well, we
ranty
do
on
the
it.
same amount of work, just over different things, because
Yeah.
you're more focused on the other platforms, and I like
I
hate
do
the other
a lot of
platforms.
short form content.
And I'm like more focused on YouTube, so like we're doing the same amount of work, so I understand, because I can't like. Yeah, we wore those poor guys out by making them take the kids to the park.
You opened his eyes to roll them at me. So you are awake.
It's just nap time. It's okay. You want a blanket?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I got my little fancy blanket ladder right there. Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. If you put that on, I might take a picture.
Hi.
Yeah, I think she should do it too, especially because it does become like passive income. Because like we were just discussing, like a year later, somebody could find your stuff, it could blow up, and I'm getting money for videos that I posted like a year ago. So that's another reason I like YouTube. And it's just easier to like monetize.
TikTok's going that route.
If
they're
I
re-viraling things, so they're
Yeah.
just starting to
Nothing.
recirculate.
Hey, leave those
I
alone.
do see that, like on
No.
this day, blah blah blah, those
Not
like
for
pop
you.
off
Yeah.
again, and
But
I
not
like
just
that.
like sometimes just random videos will pop off and go viral randomly, because TikTok's algorithm recycles content occasionally, and if it didn't do well the first time but people are interested in the second time, it just depends on what audience was seeing it.
Yeah,
That's how your videos go viral on TikTok. They
I like to make dollars though.
I know. And they do have ways to monetize on them. I'm not monetized on TikTok in that way, but I do have a TikTok shop attached to it. I don't like it personally. I mean, that's
And I
my
don't
personal
think-
opinion.
We can TikTok shop. I mean,
I can.
she probably can, because I know there's like a lot more rules. I mean, there's rules in the United States
I
too,
love that.
but like about having product tested things and all that, like it gets like real dicey, and like they need specific paperwork.
Mhm.
So that's where I was running into issues, because like I was doing my product testing stuff for my baby stuff, but I won't lie to you, I don't product test for my like 8-year-old products. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm giving this to like an 8-year-old, I think it knows not to eat the eyes. I would hope.
Not all, but hopefully some. I
Most
don't
of the
know.
time.
TikTok did have me go like jump through hoops and stuff to get through it, but I did have I have a friend who's a Tumblr maker who's on TikTok, and she helped walk me through parts that were like really a struggle when I was like, okay, they're asking me for this document, but none of my documents have this name on them, and she was like, oh, they're asking for that document, but what they mean is this document. So she kind of translated it to like American speak. I don't know.
Yeah, just this is what they mean when they're asking for that. And at the time too, I did not have 1,000 followers, so I couldn't even like go live yet. And I had 1,000 briefly, but I've neglected my TikTok, so I think I'm down in like the 850 range.
I do
But that
not
was
have
another issue.
1,000, but I can go live because I have TikTok Shop.
Yeah. Well, and I think you like got in there before they like switched the rules on that.
I
Because
did.
now I think you have to have 1,000
Now
to
I'm
like
grandfathered
do
in.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It was lucky. It was only by a month or so, though. Like, literally, they changed it right afterwards, and everybody's like, I don't know how you're able to go
Yeah.
live. And it's
Well,
like,
I feel
oh.
lucky too because now on Etsy you have to pay $15 to even like start an account, and I know people have feelings about that, which I kind of like it, but I also get it. But I'm lucky to like not even have to worry about that. So
I've got strong feelings about that platform, so I won't go into full venting
Yeah.
because, like,
it's not a perfect platform, and I definitely don't think it is. But I do see
I see the
their
benefits.
logic in some things. Is it the best way to do it? Maybe not, but also how do you like stop the things like people getting on and selling trademark things when it has to be the person who owns like the trademark to be the one to take it down, you know?
Yeah.
So like Etsy does not know who's a licensed Disney seller and who's not. So you gotta just deal with the fact that somebody is selling
I mean, it's really not anybody else's
trademark
business
stuff
if
or
they're selling
copyright
it, because
stuff.
Disney will definitely go after you.
Well,
if you're
that's
selling.
a lot of the people I see complaining is like that kind of thing. And like I get it. It's not my favorite thing, believe me. I don't want to have to compete with somebody that's like not following the rules.
That's not at all why I don't like this Etsy.
But
Honestly,
well, I know that's
yeah.
not yours. And then I do think that it's kind of messed up that they shut down every single new shop. And they do seem to shut down every single new shop, even after you pay your $15 now. And is that nice? No. Is that fair? Not really. However, if you keep on them, they will reinstate your shop, and then from there you'll have no issues. But I think it's kind of the same logic as Go Imagine, who is like an Etsy competitor, though very small
Isabella,
scale.
take that out of your mouth. Out of your mouth, Robert.
Did you take it out?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's the same concept as Go Imagine, who's doing it better but and more fair. They're an Etsy competitor, but very teeny tiny.
They're growing though. They're doing pretty good
You
at
have
advertising.
to like submit your shop information before they give you the shop, which if you think about it, Etsy is kind of doing, because you have to like follow up with them to like prove that you want your shop before they'll let you have your shop. So I don't think it's like the most perfect system, but it does get people who are not serious about having their business out of the way early, because if you're not willing to send a couple emails, then like maybe you don't have like the work ethic to have your own handmade business.
My thing is that Etsy is made for handmade businesses, but they're great at like bringing in sales, but they're not really beneficial for long-term growth for handmade businesses.
It depends on what you're selling.
It depends on what you're selling. It depends on where
Because
you want to go with your
patterns
business.
and like digital downloads
But
those
that's
can
not-
be banging on Etsy.
Yeah, but that's digital sales, and yes, you're creating them, but it's not the same as what you generally think of with handmade. So when you're thinking of the crochet pieces you actually make,
I mean, I do get that.
so under
And-
that, it's not, and they claim the name for your business, so you can't market outside of Etsy when you have Etsy, because the only thing they remember you about is, I bought this on Etsy. They don't say, I bought this from Works of Whimsy Crochet, even with your business card there.
Well, that also depends
A
on
little bit, buddy.
how well you represent your own business within the Etsy platform. Because in every single order, I have a branded like thank you card. I have a branded business card. I'm making sure like I talk to like people in messages and like sign my messages a lot of times with my name and my business name. So I am very like in your face about it. And then you can even on Etsy when you make a sale, put a thing in that says your actual website. So then you could use that sale you just made on Etsy to get another customer to your website too.
But, so like that's
So
against their TOS.
that is not. You cannot take the sale off of Etsy, but you can, in the package you send them, put other marketing in there.
Well, maybe that's false information I have, or an old rule, because at one point in time it was very widely circulated that it was against their TOS to give out marketing that referred you elsewhere to that. Granted, like, how would they know? But
You
also,
could- that could have been an old rule, or
it
that
could
could
be
have
false
just.
information that
There's
was
a lot of
circulating.
people on YouTube that are like Etsy coaches that don't know anything about anything. So if you want to
They
get
don't really believe
information,
in coaches because they tend to they're just bringing in your monies to tell you things you already know.
yeah, that's a whole different discussion. But if
It
you
is.
want Etsy information, and this is tried and true, she's talked to the people at Etsy, she's talked to the people at eRank. She works at eRank, which is like an SEO. Hey, Jujubee's crying. Like scream crying pretty aggressively. Okay.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
What are words?
What are
What words was I saying?
you were referring somebody who knows things. Like
Oh,
Etsy.
Starla Moore. She works at eRank, which is a keyword platform for doing your searching. So if you're getting your information about what is like Etsy approved and what is not, I recommend Starla Moore and her channel and her Facebook group, Handmade Alpha Academy, something like that. Handmade Alpha ALPHA Academy. She has the information, and she goes out of her way to make sure the information is like 100%. And she's even made swipe files, which, if you didn't know, it's like kind of a copy and paste thing that you could send to your customer, like after they order, like, thank you for your order. This is my general processing time, and you can just pretty much like pop in your information.
No.
Uh,
Here.
and she's made it to where like her sweat files have been like literally
Stop running
run by
around.
Etsy, so you know
I'm
that
trying to
they're
get into
like
everything.
Etsy
Just
approved.
relax and
Yeah.
play.
Because some people will argue
Oh,
that you're not
right.
allowed to like message your customers like at all, really, because it's spam, and I beg it to differ.
The only reason why I'm on the fence on whether or not it's false information or just an old rule is because when I was on Etsy, that would have been like I still have the accounts. Like the shops exist. I could still literally go set them up at any time. Not like said like they exist. They're set up. I just don't put listings. But like they're old. They're 5, 6, 7 years old. Like I started Etsy back when Etsy first started, and so that's another reason why I have very strong and different opinions about them than what you would widely see the people who are complaining or upset. That's not really where my basis comes from. I don't
I
agree
think
with what a lot of
Etsy
people
actually
do.
started in 2005, so I don't think you were a 5th grader, but I
No.
do think, you know, a couple years after, they were still in their early inception. A lot of the things that have been
Even
fine-tuned
about-
now.
Within their first, if they started in 2005, it would have been within their first 5 or 6 years of business. So it would have been when they
very
started
early
really
inception.
picking up.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But, and that's, the sad part is you really do have to weed through that, like, incorrect information. Like, you don't have to go in and renew your listings every day. It's going to cost you 20 cents on every listing you have.
They'll tell
not
you
how
when
you
need to
say-
be renewed.
Well, people say that's how you get a bump in the algorithm, because they give new listings a little bit of a boost. That way, when you're competing against somebody who's been on the platform for, say, 10 years, you're not just, like, automatically screwed, because they have all that, like, built up like listing quality. They call it a listing quality score. So when you first make a listing, it does get a little boost in their algorithm, so you can compete. But you cannot game Etsy. Like, going and having somebody like everything in your shop does not give you a boost. Going and having like somebody like follow your shop does not give it a boost. Renewing your listings every day does not give it a boost. It used to, but Etsy does not like people trying to game their system, so that stopped being like a useful thing. You can get like a little boost organically, and Etsy could tell if they've sent like from a link or if they found your shop organically. That can give you like a teeny tiny little boost still, but yeah.
I mean,
you just gotta look.
if you shared your listing around and there were people who were genuinely interested, and either if you bought them or it was like trending in other ways, that's how you'd get an organic
Isabella, come back.
boost.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's not
you see a
playing that
lot-
algorithm. That's like a realistic how it's supposed to work.
That is how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
But you'll see a lot of people doing like for like, follow for follow.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
They do that like on all the social media platforms too, and it really doesn't do anything because again, if it's not, I know I mentioned it earlier, if it's not engaging and you're not selling to those people, they're not interacting with your information, they're not actually
It's actually
interested.
going to hurt your shop.
It's gonna hurt you.
Because think
What
of
are
it
you
this way.
doing?
If you now have 1,000 people seeing your video start and swiping away, now you've just given the algorithm 1,000 people who don't have zero interest in your stuff swiping away. That's telling the algorithm that that video is like not great, which is more, hurtful than having 5 people that actually like your stuff watch your stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot more helpful.
You want to talk about
And people
stuff
who
being
share
disgusting?
that actually want to share.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
ain't that right, friend?
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm mom.
Eat this.
See, I'm not eating. Stop.
Oh, she's gonna fall down.
I got her.
I didn't know how far the camera dipped down, so I just wanted to.
They're the wrong audience. Exactly. They're the wrong audience.
Yeah.
When I joined Etsy, it would have been 2010, 2011 about.
Yes. Say it louder for the people in the back. Sorry, we're going into pricing again.
Thanks.
They do have like calculator things that you can use to type in your price to see if you'll actually make money on your order. So people
on
who
the
are
video,
like,
too.
if Etsy is not profitable, well, it's almost like you set your own prices. So if it's not profitable, you can fix that.
That's always been a thing too since Etsy's like beginning, like taking off. It's always been, it's not profitable with the fees. Everything has fees.
Yeah.
Your business has fees. It costs money to run the lights. It costs money to have cameras, to phones, things like that. Most of them are tax deductible too, including your Etsy fees are tax
Well, actually,
deductible.
she could write on that paper because that was our podcast notes.
Okay, you can
She
write on
wants
this
to color.
paper.
But yeah, everything has fees. Etsy has a 6.5% transaction fee that applies to like the total sale price. So if it was like $5 for the item and $5 to ship, it's going to be 6.5 on that total $10. Or if it's free shipping because you're like paying for it yourself, or it's free shipping because it's a digital download, it's just 6.5% on the list price. That original $5. Plus, they have a processing fee, which is going to be pretty much the same across the board no matter what website you're on. Shopify has processing fees. Squarespace has processing fees. Squared, like the card reader, has processing fees. They vary a little bit, 3, 4, 5%, just depends on what you're using, what you're doing with it. But that's standard across the board, so you're not going to go over to your own website and avoid that.
Like she said, Shopify has processing fees. They have credit card fees. They have you still have to own your own domain to really be able to utilize it to its
Which
full
is
capacity.
pretty cheap. That's usually like $10, $15 a year.
Yeah, it's $15 a year.
Um,
I have 2 of them, and I actually own multiple domains for my website because I calculated in case
that's
somebody
the
wrote my
website,
name
like
in.
URL, by the way.
Yeah, I calculated in case somebody wrote my name in wrong because my business is branded under my name. It's Rebecca Merker Design. So if somebody wrote my name in wrong,
So you got
They
Rebecca
still-
Merker.
I do. I have a few of
That's
them.
funny.
And so I do. I pay from them out of the business money, and you'll get sent to my website no matter what.
Do you have those other websites like redirecting to your?
I
Okay,
do.
I'm like good.
Yeah, I made it easy.
But yeah, that for the United States,
Dad.
the processing fee for Etsy on top of that 6.5% is 3% plus 20 cents. Why plus 20 cents? Not a clue. So you're talking about 10% of the sale is going to Etsy. Sure, that sucks, but build that into your pricing. It is what it is. That's the reality of selling on that platform. Now, there's a thing called offsite ads, which you can turn on or off yourself. And that's going to be whether your stuff gets shown on Google or not. If you make over 10,000 in a year, they will automatically turn that on. But the fee for that ranges from 12% to 15%. But that's not Etsy being greedy, because Etsy doesn't get that. That is like a Google ad fee, which if you have your own website, you have to pay for Google ads if you want them anyway. And I gotta tell you, it's not cheap.
Now, I will say that Etsy's offsite ads, their Google ads, is one of the main reasons I left their platform. Now, I don't agree with Etsy's platform because I don't want my brand associated with it because I work very hard on my brand, you know. Nothing wrong again with Etsy. I think that they have the place, and with certain creators, it's perfect for them, and it's a great network, and
But
it's
the
great.
fact that there's other people, it could make your business look bad. Because if somebody bought some crappy crochet from another crochet vendor, what if they think all the crochet on Etsy sucks?
And that's the potential of it. Their offsite ads are actually what made me leave them because when they first added that onto the platform, it was glitchy. They turned it on. They had a site-wide glitch. They turned it on. It was well talked about in the groups. And it cost me nearly $100 and something in ads I did not turn on, and then they fought me on it. And I was just like, you know what? I've had it up to here. I don't want to do this. I didn't shut it down. It still exists. The account's there.
I'm not 100% sure, but I do think when you make a new account, that might already automatically be turned on. So that might be something you need to go look to see if it's turned off.
I haven't made a new account in a long time.
If not, you should just still check to make sure that's turned off. There's going to be a tutorial for it on like the YouTube somewhere that you can find. I don't remember off the top of my head to guide you there to turn it off.
So to me, that's that's both glitchy and it's a little predatory
And I
of
can
them.
see that. Yeah, to
That
enroll you
part.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that part
It's
specifically.
not my favorite thing, but look at it this way. They are trying to give you like help because not only are people going to Etsy to shop, but like
But
if
are
somebody
they
is
being
typing in
honest with
Google,
that help? Because if it's costing more than what they expect, then that's why a lot of people are like, this costs more than what they're saying. They're saying it's undisclosed fees. Is it technically undisclosed? Probably not.
No.
It's probably in the terms of service. You probably should read through all your
the
documents.
Etsy has a whole seller handbook. They cover
But-
everything from like best practices with pictures to all their fees. There's like this whole chart for like every country that Etsy, like you're allowed to sell on Etsy on, that has your exact processing fee. Because some of them are up to about 6% for some countries, and I'm so sorry for you because that's like 12% right there between like your normal transaction fee and your processing fee. That's not great.
Now, this is actually
But
one of the reasons why we
it's
have the
there.
podcast, though. We have the podcast because there's so much of this information that it exists, it's out there, but other people don't know how to look for it. They don't know where to look, or some of us get tired and a little bit set up in our ways, and we just don't look for it.
Yeah,
And so-
reading is really important when you start anything, and I'm guilty of it too.
Well, and you have to
It
also
is.
think about it, and this is not
you
just
don't
purely.
know what you don't know. You know, you don't know to seek that information. Like if you have never heard of offsite ads, a lot of people confuse it with Etsy ads, which is like you can pay for ads to
Within
be shown
Etsy itself.
within the platform of Etsy.
That's what the sponsored listings are in Etsy. I do. buy
Yeah,
from
it'll
Etsy.
say like this is an ad or like
There you go, buddy.
ad seller or something. But that is different than offsite ads, and you could set a daily budget for that. I have it at like $1 or $1.50 a day, just so it keeps my like fee for the month between like $30 and $45. Around Christmas, if I'm feeling like wealthy, I might bump that up to
She kind of just
$2.
answered that as you asked it.
What?
Papa,
Say that
You
again.
pay for ads on Etsy.
Yes, I pay for ads on Etsy, but here's a big tip for ads. Don't put your whole shop on ads, because if you have 20 products, but you only have $1 a day that you're spending on ads, then you're going to get about 5 clicks on each of those products before your whole ad budget's up. So either pick like the 2 or 3 best products you think are going to be your banging sellers if you don't have any sales history, and go from there. Because a lot of times if someone sees something cool, they might click into your shop anyway, even if this is not the particular thing they're looking for.
Exactly. You're doing exactly what it is. And it's funny because you guys are saying that, and I do hope the video stays up there
Yes.
because
on
there are
specific
some
products.
coaches out there that will make you pay for that information.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is free. And then when you do get some sales history, only put ads on your best sellers. Like, why are we putting money on like a losing racehorse? And I got news for you guys. If you think every product you put in your Etsy will sell, erroneous, not correct. And that's okay. And that's just like the name of the game in business. You'll have probably only about 10% of your products on Etsy that do good. But that's why people say like the more the better. But if you can't keep up with if all those products sold, you should probably hold it down, you know, a little bit. But there are products on my Etsy that have never sold, and that's okay. But I'm not going to spend AdSense on them because that would just be not smart.
Let me show you.
I do want to point out one of the reasons that we are so open about the information as well. And I mean, it might not be a direct reason, but it's something to consider. When we talk about some people not being able to gain access to the information, it goes right back into, especially in the US, but I know that in other places as well, the literacy rate in America and the interpretation of literacy, learning the media and things like that, and how to
They don't
interpret that. It
teach
does.
you.
It's
Yeah.
not very good. It's not very good. There's a large amount of the population who would benefit from having a business and could run a business 1000%, but weren't taught to read, so they don't have the same access to information, or they were taught to read, but it's at a very basic level, and they could do
So it's hard to
much
like
more.
translate like legalese, which is a lot of what this stuff is written in. Legalese, you don't. I could read this all day and I don't know what it's telling me that's okay or not.
Well, and like if you have the money, so you start the business, you learn all the information through videos such as ours or from other people as well. You build yourself up, you bring the money in, you have the money to be able to learn further on your own for things that we might not be able to tell you, to be able to read some of the books that you want to read or interpret some of the information because you were able to learn it because you had access.
And
Access is important.
I say this all the time. You don't know what you don't know. So like you don't know that this is like a whole thing to even go searching for. Because like a lot of us like that have
Exactly.
businesses are self-starters, and who do go out of our way to collect information. But if you don't know this whole thing exists,
Why?
chances are you're not ever going to Google it because you didn't know. Like I didn't know that this stuff carried over from like Etsy to my website, so I would never have Googled like how to move that over because I didn't know that that was a thing.
Well, and even if you know to Google it, so I was telling Jackie, if you don't know the right words to ask, sometimes you can't. Like before she was saying the right words and we got into the conversation about it, I didn't know to tell her that you could transfer those listings over.
Yeah,
I didn't know to share that information. I
don't
learned
color
quite a
on the
while
table,
ago.
silly.
So if you don't know the right words to ask, you don't frame it in the right way, sometimes even if
It's
somebody
hard
has
to-
the information, they can't give it to you or they don't think to give it to you.
Yeah, like I don't know what a DSLR camera is, so like when I go Google like what's a good camera,
Rosemary, get
you're
out of the
gonna
mouth.
tell me some stuff I have no understanding
It's a
of.
digital
Rosemary.
single lens
So I'm
reflex
just
camera.
gonna like pick. What the fuck does that? Is that? Am I demonetized now? What the frick does that even mean?
It's
so
a
sorry.
fancy, very good quality camera where we were comparing like comparing and contrast the camera that I have. I think it's a 2010, 2011,
This is
and
my
it's in comparison to her brand new 2024 Sony camera.
Sony.
Sony.
Sunny.
Sony. You know. Anyways, you
This
can
is-
remove the lenses. You can change them out.
I got a wide lens I
But-
could pop onto this, which I meant to ask you how to show me how to do that.
Yeah. Actually, let me see.
Well, my wide lens is in there, and
Let me
I
just see how to if this one pulls off by any chance,
I don't
or if
know.
you just pop it on top.
I think it's the pop on top situation.
Interesting.
But I don't know. See, because like technology is not my strong suit. Cameras aren't my strong suit. I did not know anything about editing or videoing, which is why I like linked to that one girl. So if you want to like practice,
Yeah, I have a boo-boo.
do a little get to know me series, because then there's no research really involved in that,
Oh,
and you
thank
could just like film all day and just get comfortable with it, and fake it till you make it.
Remember, she just kissed my boo boo.
What a nice baby.
Right.
So cute.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You don't know what you don't know.
I use my I have a Samsung Galaxy S something. It's 2024, and only because my phone that I had previously broke the day before an event, and I had to go get a new one that day.
I just got this year. So I started my channel on my phone, which is like an S21 something or other, which is good because nowadays any like phone you get, even within like the past 5 years, if your phone's like 5 years old, is gonna have good picture quality enough to like record to put on YouTube. Most YouTubers aren't doing like full on like cinematography style crazy stuff. Now, if that's your channel, you might need something a little more. But if you're doing like talking head style or like your average tutorial, a basic phone camera like really is all you need. Now the space, that gets a little problematic. That's why I got this, because I was running out of space, because I take a lot of like stupid videos of just everything.
I just I move all my stuff to a computer to free up storage and increase the space on it, but I really do just use my phone for pretty much everything. I have the DSLR. It's actually sitting over there in her kitchen.
And this is
Charging.
a Sony ZV-1,
Yeah.
which if anybody wants it, I'll link it in the description somewhere.
That one's a Nikon D something.
I like your
2400.
Nikon. Are you getting rid of any of your cameras for when I break mine?
Well, that one's the only one that has digital recording, so no.
Rude.
The other one I have doesn't have digital recording. I can't remember what year it is. I keep trying to think about what year that was.
I don't know. It's a
It
cool
wasn't
looking
super
camera
long
though.
ago.
It's not bad. But iMovie, that's like deep cut stuff. I feel like a lot of OG YouTubers were on iMovie doing editing. I've never used it. I do have an Apple computer, but that was my first ever Apple product, was my laptop that I got last year, which got broke. So I've got the same type of laptop now, just with bigger editing or bigger storage.
I'm an Android user for no like arguable reason other than I like it better. Don't draw on that.
I've been using DaVinci Resolve because I had on my other computer, which was a Dell something or other. What was I using? Something I don't remember the name of. But it did not carry over to the Apple computer, so I had to find another platform. So I found DaVinci, and the free version has everything that I need because I don't do crazy editing. I pop some text on the screen. I pop some sound effects in. That's basically it. That is all of my editing capabilities.
I mean, they're good. They look nice to me. I think they're pretty good. I like your videos.
Zooms too.
I do see that you do zoom in on like important topics.
I try to. That's like something I learned in like the last couple of months. But yeah, I tried CapCut, and for whatever reason, it told me when I was trying to export out of CapCut that my video was too big. And I just can't be having that because it was like a less than 30-minute video. And I don't know if CapCut was having an attitude that day, because Marty, a friend of the channel, Floss and Crochet, she uses CapCut and has no issues. And she's done a lot of longer form videos. So, and I even paid for it at one point, and it was still telling me the file was too big. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on.
I will say, my parents and family think that we should all move to iPhones, but we're not really for it. Something I like about Android is that like my Samsung does the same thing. I can connect to my computer, I can DeX it, I can put it onto a monitor separately and everything. My husband has the Google phones, he can do the same things. But if you don't have the top, like the fancy Samsung, which is unfortunately what I have because I'm politically informed and I'm not a huge fan of having to get new stuff at all. Or the Googles, like what my husband has, is a few years old at this point, right?
See, that's kind of how I feel about iPhones.
They don't work.
Are they still doing that thing where your iPhone gets like real crappy, like when the new iPhone comes out? Because I can't be having that in my life because I'm poor. So I will use my phone until my phone breaks, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, 6 years in. I've had phones that still have slide out keyboards by the time everybody had just a flat phone.
I can't tell you more than what is hearsay because I don't have those devices. So like I can tell you, but they'd be a rumor. It's not from experience.
I will say, with what she said, I have thought about getting an Apple phone when this phone does bite the dust, just because I do hear a lot of good things about like the compatibility. It's basically like a walking computer.
No.
Or I can do it on the computer and like I can airdrop things, and like that seems very appealing. Because I'll tell you what, trying to get video from an Android phone onto an Apple computer is enough to make you want to punch yourself in the face.
I mean, trying to get video from an Android phone onto a Windows computer can also be very difficult. But I have managed to figure it out so it's not so difficult.
You have to have something called Android file transfer, which looks like it's straight out of 1990. Just very weird.
You don't have to. You can connect them.
I tried. It was not working.
Oh.
But I don't know if that's my phone, because also some of the portable monitors were not connecting to my phone either, even though my phone is only like a couple years old.
Well,
so I don't know if it's a my phone thing versus like an
portable
Android
monitors
thing.
wouldn't connect with my iPhone either, because my business has an iPhone it was hanging around at family, so I just got it and it kind of sits in there. It has my old Android too. It's
Yeah.
literally just an office, just these phones to be able to use anytime. You can go live from any of them and hook them up
The
to the internet.
Fastest way, though, theoretically, was supposed to be Android file transfer, where I can just like plug it. That's what it is. You plug it into the computer and it pulls up the Android file transfer, and then I like
Oh.
pop it over, kind of vibes.
That's how Androids also switch the information. So it's how you get your information from one phone to the other. You know, my DSLR, the Nikon I have, has an app from Google, and it has Bluetooth capability. So you just turn Bluetooth on your phone and you connect them, and all the it transfer all the videos and all of the pictures directly to your phone. It really only takes a couple minutes, and sometimes it does it in real time if you want to keep it running.
That's nuts.
So I mean, it's not too terribly
See,
bad in my opinion.
You don't know what you don't know.
You
'cause
don't know
I
what you
did
don't
not know that was a thing.
That is the thing. It's called Nikon Image Space.
But now I've got this fancy little camera, and I just pop the memory card right out, put it in, and that's another complaint I have about Apple. Hold on, we'll get there. I just put it into the Apple computer, and it just pops up, and I drag it off, and it's cool, instead of having to do what I was doing when Android file transfer was being like flaky. I'd have to upload to Google Drive, get on the computer, harvest out of Google Drive, and it can take like 2, 3, 4 hours just to get it off my phone onto the computer, all before starting to edit.
That's pretty much what I have to do to get the videos from, because we transfer the videos back and forth via our internet, and I live in a rural area that has the worst internet in existence, and so downloading the video from Google Drive into my computer maybe takes 30 minutes to an hour, but then trying to download it back into it takes like 2 days.
But my complaint about Apple is, why is this a $1,500 computer with 2 ports? Why? Where's all my dollars going?
What's the purpose?
Because I had to get this fancy device here. Ooh, I can't get it. Give it to me. Off of the interwebs. So I got a charging port and then 2 like USB-Cs. And the USB-C thing that I have has like the SD card thing. Like, this doesn't just have an SD card. I'm pointing to my computer. I've got another like USB-C. I've got 2 like regular USB thingies. And then another USB thing, because I like a wireless mouse and keyboard, because I like hate not having like a number keypad. So that's also a me thing. I also hate Apple's like keypad, because you can't like right click with it unless you hold a button, and like, what is that? That's stupid, and I hate it.
Like, I have a Windows, I have a
but
HP, and I've had Lenovo too. I like my Lenovo and
I
the
liked my
HPs.
Lenovo. I had a Lenovo for school because I used to like be a student. So you get, if you're like me and have financial aid, you get like financial aid, and I've used financial aid to buy a laptop before, and it was Lenovo, and I did like it. But my cheaper computer, which was still $1,000, only had one USB-C, which was the charger or nothing.
We had a
What is
charger.
that?
I didn't have USB-Cs, but I did have the USB to be able to transfer it. I have 2 on my laptop, and then I have a memory card slot that I can put right in from the camera's memory cards if I want to, and then I think it has a micro spot as well for the micros.
What MacBook do you have? Because I have a MacBook Air something or other with like an M2
An
chip
HDMI port.
and 512 gigabytes of something or others.
Okay. I think there are some that have HDMI ports though.
Well, that's usually like an older style computer, I feel like, because they're not.
It's
Yeah,
not
some
as
others.
common.
Yeah, HDMI is kind of being
Can
phased
we not
out.
turn the TV on?
Kind of. Are you watching the news? Things kind of explode. I'm sorry, I feel like I smell. I ran
Okay.
before she got here, so
Oh.
nobody judge me. I did shower, but I ran after I showered, so it's kind of
No, we do.
not ideal.
At the very least, you don't have to, but I have to get off because we gotta go home.
Oh no.
Because I have a live selling video on Whatnot tonight, and then
You
fireworks.
mean you're gonna go pay attention to your own business instead of helping mine? So rude. But I mean, I guess we could
Audacity
sign
of
off
I.
because I said
I'm
about
selling stud
2:30
earrings.
that we were gonna be done, and it is 4. But it's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. I had fun. It
Yeah,
was
I
nice
had
to meet
fun,
everyone.
too. Maybe we'll try to do this like once a month, at least. I'm gonna just leave that with you guys. You know.
Ma'am, you can't
see.
put on the. She's trying to put
See,
on.
I have a MacBook Air too.
Do you see what she was trying to put on?
Yeah, my little baby booty.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. But
Thank you.
yeah, I wonder what kind you have, because I have a MacBook Air too, and I just really am offended by the lack of ports on such an expensive device. I'm also offended on new phones, how they don't have like a regular headphone jack, and I have to use Bluetooth headphones because it's like hard to run
Let me
in like Bluetooth headphones.
Why?
Because I said so.
Are you gonna get that?
Yep, I'm gonna
Okay.
get that.
I was just asking. No, you don't have to. I was just wondering.
And I'm gonna make you get it,
Um,
clearly. My baby dropped it, so of course you gotta pick it up.
I'll speak to you on what? I can't see.
On Instagram.
Oh, on Insta. Okay, yeah, cool, thanks.
We look
But
forward
yeah.
to talking with you.
We were gonna get out of here, and it was fun. And I'll see you guys in our podcast that's going up tomorrow. Oh yeah, I made that boot. I'm making a second one, so it's a pair of boots. Imagine that. For
just
my
a single?
sister-in-law's baby shower.
Not just a single boot.
Yeah. But
Alright, have a good night. And
I don't know how to get out of it.
right here.
Okay. Okay, bye. I don't know what I'm doing.